Hello and welcome to a beautiful Sunday here in the Kent countryside. What can we say, the first Sunday of August, and the sun has come out. A few wispy white clouds in the sky, but plenty of action to look forward to here at Brands Hatch, the home of motorsport and one of the most loved circuits in the UK. And the GT Championship is about to start round 6 with a 2-hour race around the full circuit here at Brands. Plenty to look forward to, as I said, throughout the afternoon. The cars starting to head out onto the grid. So let's talk you through what to expect over the next few hours here on Motors TV. Well, if we have a look at the timetable, you can see coming up first it is the GT Championship. Then we will go to the Caterham Superlights. That's followed by the young guys, the Formula 4 Championship round 3. Then we've got the Prototype Motorsport Jeanette GT5 Challenge. And the last race closing us out at 5:30 will be the Volkswagen Racing Cup. So as I said, plenty to look forward to. I think we're probably going to be in the way any moment now, but let's have a quick chat with the guys on pole position. Andrew Howard already buttered up in the car, and Johnny Adam. Johnny, what a great qualifying session yesterday, and Andrew Howard lit this place up, didn't he?
It was incredible yesterday. From the first lap out yesterday morning, he was very quick. So yeah, qualifying on pole is a great position to be in. We'll see how the race pans out for us. For us, we've got 20 seconds extra in the pit stops today because of the success we had at Spa. So it's going to be tricky, but yeah, if Andrew performs like he done yesterday, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, do you have to hope for a little bit of extra luck then to really try and overcome that 20-second extra penalty here?
Yeah, the worst situation is to have a safety car in the first sort of 50 minutes of the race. We'd like a safety car for the second phase, but yeah, you never know. You know, the pace is good, but there's a lot of quick cars. Triple A car looks quick, and so does the McLaren. And the Curie Cos, yeah, again, they're up the front, so it's going to be a good race.
Yeah, it's certainly looking interesting for the championship as well, isn't it? How much of your thoughts now, as we've got through the first half of the season, are on the championship, and how much is on a race-by-race basis?
We're still race-by-race, really, if I'm honest, purely because we're carrying a DNF from race 1 at Oulton. And that has hindered us a lot, if I'm honest. But yeah, to get maximum points at Spa really helped us. But it's just trying to get through this weekend. The car is good, the Aston's good round here. So we just have to maximise what we can today and hopefully see where we are by the end of play today.
Yeah, you've got a pretty good track record around here as well. What is it about this circuit that suits you and obviously suits Andrew Howard as well?
I think it's a balance on the car, to be fair. Out the back is very much aero dependent. We've got good aero on the car, but we've got good power as well. And it just, from 2012 when we came here with Advantage, it just seems to suit this circuit. We had a great run in 2012. I think it was a close finish with Jan Maldenborough. We won 2013, and fortunately we stuck on pole last year but had a problem with the car. So we'd love to try and maximise what we can today, but 20 seconds is going to be hard to come back.
Yeah, and when it comes to, you know, getting the best out of this circuit, and a circuit that a lot of drivers really enjoy coming to, what are the specific corners, the turns, the straights that you really enjoy driving?
There's like 2 or 3 segments to the lap that are quite different. The slow technical power of the Indy up at Druids and Graham Hill Bend, but then you've got fast corners like Hawthorns and Westfield. And for us, the GT3 cars, you know, there's a lot of GT4 cars out there, and it's going to be overtaken in the right places as well, not getting compromised too much, but at the same time trying to get a consistent lap time. So it's going to be good. It's going to be a really interesting race.
I'm really looking forward to it. Johnny, I'm going to let you go because I know you want to go onto the grid. Thank you so much. Now, last time out, as Johnny mentioned, he won in Spa. What a race it was. So let's take you through the highlights of that. Our commentary team today and then as ever is Charlie Butler Henderson and Jack Nichols.
For the 5th round of the championship, the cars made their way to the famous Spa-Francorchamps circuit. Andrew Howard was starting on pole position, but he got beaten away off the line by Liam Griffin, but they were adjudged to have jumped the start. The action was absolutely non-stop throughout the entirety of the race. It was Liam Griffin leading the way, but he then had to serve a drive-through penalty. The 888 BMW ran into mechanical problems, and the number 1 car, despite that spin, managed to recover and finish the race in 4th position, which would ultimately give them the lead of the championship. Somehow, Marco Attard and Alexander Sims coming through the chaos, which continued throughout the entirety of the race. Also troubles at the pit stop for the Beech Dean Aston Martin. They had to serve a longer time in the pits because of their previous championship success, but when Johnny Adam took the wheel, he managed to find his way back into the lead of the race. Alistair McKinnon's car was forced off, and the 27 TF Sport Aston Martin was in trouble too. But it was victory for Johnny Adam and Andrew Howard. In the GT4 class, it was a 17-second win for Oz Yusuf and Izzy Racing Team. So now we're here at Brands Hatch for the 6th round of the championship. As Jenny says, it's Charlie Butler-Henderson alongside me for this 2-hour race that we've got coming up for you today. And as you can see, it is the Beech Dean Aston Martin that's on pole position, but they're not doing that well in terms of the championship. Down in 4th place for Howard and Adam after their DNF in the opening weekend at Alton Park. It's Marco Attard and Alexander Sims who lead the way. And then in 2nd place in the championship is Liam Griffin and Rory Butcher. And so it's going to be very interesting to see how this season progresses, because after this we have only got 2 races at Snetterton and 1 at Donington to go. There's Jamie Chadwick and Ross Gunn. They are at the top of the GT4 Championship. A really strong performance from them, but they are getting closed in on and still put under pressure by Oz Yusuf and Gavin Kershaw. So the cars have made their way onto the grid now. Charlie, this is a great circuit for GT racing and a great day for GT racing.
Yeah, absolutely perfect conditions for us spectators and everyone watching around the circuit, but not so much for the guys that are inside the car. They know that it's pretty much going to stay dry for the race. They're not going to have to worry too much about changing tyres, but inside the car it's going to be very, very hot.
So let's go back down to Jenny Gow, who's down on the grid.
Yes, certainly am. As the klaxons go off, you can see plenty of spectators here as well. Jack, the atmosphere down here on the grid is one of the best we've had all the season so far. So you can see Johnny, who we've just spoken to, Johnny Adam, is just walking away as we speak to him. But Andrew Howard is ready to go. He'll take the very first stint in that 007 car. And then if we come across here, you can see the 888 car as well. These guys having a good time of it so far, and just having a look to see who we can speak to, but we can't speak to anyone at the moment, so we'll carry on down the grid because that's the easiest thing to do. Oh, we have some lovely bagpipes of the #1 car as well. Not something you see all the time and every day, but the Acura Ekase guys will always do that. Alexander Sims and Marco Attard is here for the Acura Ekase, and if we come over here, you can see we have the #10 car. Andrew Watson there is just perched on the side. Andrew, can we have a quick chat with you?
Yep.
Ross Wiley in the car. So, starting on the 2nd row of this grid, what are your tactics for today, if you don't want to give away too much, obviously?
Go like a scalded cat. I think, yeah, this is the best grid position we've had all year. The car's really good. It was mega in qualifying. We were quickest in warm-up this morning. So, Ross and I are just really fired up. You know, we've had not a great start to the year, but hats off to all the Von Ryan racing guys. They've had a long week. They just got back from the Spa 24-hour race and they've been up to 2 a.m. putting this car together and put it together well. It's fast, and just thanks to all the McLaren GT guys as well. So Ross and I are going to do it for them today, and you know, we like this track, so he knows what he's going to do. I know what I have to do. Hopefully we'll be on the podium.
I mean, it's a beautiful day here, so when it comes to tactics, it's harder to judge because you don't have the rain as a possibility, which is normally what we have in GT racing. But what are you hoping for out of this?
Yeah, you know, in British GT, there's normally a safety car at some stage, so we'll have to manage that, and if that's close to the pit window, we maybe make that strategy work for us. That's where we can excel, because we have 2 silver drivers, you know, instead of the Pro-Am pairing, so we can maybe make that work for us. The guys in front of us have a...
Just explain to the guys at home who maybe don't know GT racing too much, the silver status. Explain that for us.
Yeah, so we're in between a gold as a pro and a bronze as an amateur. So Ross and I are up and coming. We're not at the gold level yet, but we're up and coming. We're young drivers, so we're probably a little bit ahead of the bronze drivers. So we're just making a name for ourselves. We've got 50 kilos of ballast to carry, which is quite hard, to be honest. It kills the tyres towards the end of the stint. So hopefully, if I'm out leading, it's going to be a tough last 20 minutes with the guys breathing down my neck. So we've got the weight to carry, but that's not stopping us so far this weekend, and we're just both really, really fired up for it.
Well, we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Okay, right, we will carry on because I'd like to try, if we can, to get you down to the pole position of the GT4 drivers. So if you have a look who's around, there's lots of good girls getting hugs from guys. We've got Liam Griffin and Rory Butcher. They're ready and waiting to go as well, just to the left of me. And if we carry on, we've just passed the number 27 car. And we're just going to get a little bit of a hurry on past a very crowded grid, which we always like to see. We've got some way to go before we manage to find ourselves in the pole position of the GT4s, but we will get there past number 17. You can see that's Johnson and Bell, Tandy and Simpson to our right as well. Nice spaced out grid here. Past the Demon Tweaks car as well. You've got number 44 just waiting to go. That's Parfit and Oliphant. And in fact, let's have a look. We want to go down here a little bit more. So we can just about make out, if you're looking carefully, GT4 pole position is pointed out to the left. It's vast, this grid. It's a little bit like going for a country ramble on a Sunday afternoon, which is incredibly present. You can see a lot of cars on this grid. It's a little oversubscribed this year, which we like to see, in fairness, because we like some exciting racing. So we have made our way down to car number 48. Beautiful GT4 pole position girl. Oh, hello. So this is Jamie Stanley. He's taking the second drive. You can see Paul McNeely is in the car. Jamie, they made us walk far to get to you. Pole position, but it's a long way back. It's the easy part, isn't it? Getting pole position on the Saturday, but actually converting that on the Sunday, getting those precious points. That's the thing that matters.
You can have a go next time.
Can I really?
Absolutely.
You heard him say that, you saw him say that, so next time we'll do it. I don't think you want that, right, really? So, yeah, what do you have to do to convert that pole position today?
I think the first thing is just try and stay out of trouble. You know, it's a long race. You can't really win it on the first corner, but you can definitely lose it. So I think we're just going to try and drive it lap by lap and see where we are when the pit window opens.
Yeah, that's the kind of racing driver's mantra, isn't it? Don't bin it on that first lap. It is a long race. And tactics-wise, can you give us a little insight into what you guys are going to do?
Yeah, drive fast and don't crash.
I love it. That makes sense. Right, I'm going to let you go and get ready in the car. Thank you very much. And just next to them, you can see Ozzy Youssef and Gavin Kershaw. Those are the guys that are really going to be challenging them and trying all they can do. Last time out in Spa, we could see a little bit of an interesting thing between Ozzy Youssef in here and the driver of the car, which is just behind them, Jamie Chadwick. So we had, it all got a little heated, I'm not going to lie, but they were fine. So they're number 407, so they're back here. And if we can make it in time to have a very quick word with Jamie, although I can't actually see her, she's leading the GT4 Championship. Is Jamie around? Where's she gone? Oh, there she is. She's in the car, that's why I couldn't see her. Jamie, a few moments to go until you're out there. How are you feeling?
Yeah, good. Obviously, starting a bit further back than we would have liked, so it's all to play for. But obviously, with the championship lead, we've got to be safe. But yeah, hopefully, going to push for some good results and have a bit of a race.
What's been going wrong this weekend? Because you've been a little bit off the pace.
Yeah, I think it would appear, to be honest, the Aston hasn't quite got the pace of the Ginettas around here, which is fair. But we were also carrying quite a lot of weight with success ballast from results that we've had earlier in the season. So yeah, I think it hasn't come as a surprise that we struggled a bit, but I think in testing we did a lot and we're focused a lot on our race pace. So hopefully today we can be strong in the race and show what we've got.
Okay, I'm going to let you get ready. Thank you so much for talking to us. So that's Jamie Chadwick. Just to let you know, her brother has already had 2 wins this weekend in the Ginettas. So no pressure at all on her, but she's hoping that she can follow in the family footsteps this weekend and pull out something really impressive around this circuit at Brands Hatch. But as they say, they're carrying a bit of a weight disadvantage. So look out for number 407 off the start and we'll see what they can do. I'm just going to come round this corner here and let them close the door. As you can look down at this grid, you can see lots of activity going on. The final few moments before we get the racing away. The conditions could not be any better here at Brands Hatch. We have 2 hours of racing to come for you in just a few moments' time. So what?
Welcome back to Brands Hatch, where we're about to get underway for round 6 of this 2015 Avon Tyres British GT Championship. My name is Jack Nichols. Alongside me here in the commentary box overlooking the beautiful Brands Hatch circuit is Charlie Butler-Henderson, and here is the grid. Left-hand side there, Andrew Howard in the Beechdene Aston Martin. It's Lee Mole alongside him on the front row. Ross Wiley on the left, Marco Attard, the championship leader, on the right-hand side. He and Alexander Sims looking for a strong result here. Then we've got Liam Griffin on the left-hand side for the Oman Racing Team alongside the other Aston Martin, which will be started by Andrew Jarman. Gary Eastwood, 7th on the grid in that Ferrari. And on the right-hand side, you can see Ahmed Al-Hadi in the number 2 Oman Racing Aston Martin. Then we've got Johnston and Tandy on the next row. Gavin Minshaw will be starting in 11th place there on the left-hand side alongside Ritten Parfitt. Then the next row of the grid is Mark Farmer and Godfrey Jones in the Mercedes. Then the last row of the GT3s, Alistair McKinnon and Hector Lester alongside each other. Then the pole car in GT4 there on the left-hand side. It'll be Paul McNeely starting it, and alongside him will be Oz Yusuf. And then we rattle through the GT4 cars. On the left-hand side there is the Beech Dean Aston Martin that is leading the championship. Jamie Chadwick will be starting that car. On the right-hand side is Graham Coombs. They had a strong run last time out in Spa-Francorchamps. And then at the back of the grid, 2 cars that had to change their engine. Richard Taffender on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side will be Fletcher in that Toyota. A huge grid of cars here, 30 getting ready to take the start at Brands Hatch as the green flag lap gets underway. A few pointers, it's a 2-hour race. They'll basically, these AM drivers will probably do about 50 minutes or so before coming into the pits and handing over to the pros. The pole position car of Andrew Howard and Johnny Adam will have to be in the pits for 20 seconds longer than the rest of the field because of their win last time out at Spa, and it'll be a 15-second penalty for Phil Keane and John Minshaw in the number 63 Demon Twigs car. And as far as the GT4 pit stop penalties go, it's 20 seconds for Oz Yusuf in the Lotus and 15 seconds for Jamie Chadwick and Ross Gunn, and then 10 seconds for Coombs in the AMD tuning Porsche. So that's how things are set ahead of round 6 of the season. So here's a look at how they are going to line up. Andrew Howard and Johnny Adam on pole position. It's the drivers on the left-hand side of the columns that will be starting the race. The 888 BMW of Lee Mole alongside them. We've got Ross Wiley 3rd on the grid. Marco Attard, championship leaders. They're in 4th place. It's currently Griffin and Marco Attard, who are joint in 2nd place in the championship at the moment. So that's going to be interesting to see how that battle continues. Tandy and Simpson completing the top 10. There we can see 17th place Paul McNeely and Jamie Stanley on GT4 pole position. And then Oz Yusuf and Gavin Kershaw alongside them on the front row. But it's the championship leaders in the 407 Aston Martin, Jamie Chadwick and Ross Gunn, that will be starting in 21st position there in the 407 car. And down at the back of the grid, the 2 cars that had to have the engine change, the Taffender Nash car, the Stratton Motorsport Ultratech guys didn't finish that car until 4 AM this morning. As far as the championship is concerned, Alexander Sims and Marco Attard lead it on 101 points, and then it's a tie for 2nd place between Andrew Howard and Johnny Adam, and Liam Griffin and Rory Butcher, both tied on 86.5 points. So that is how close the championship is. And after this, we have 2 races at Snetterton and then 1 race at Donington Park. We're in the business end of the season, but we're getting ready for the start of the race. Rolling start. Tension beginning to rise, Charlie Butler-Henderson. Yeah, definitely. It's a very expensive grid out there. You can see the BMWs, the McLarens, the Aston Martins, and all of the drivers talking to them up and down the pit lane this morning are absolutely really looking forward to this race. It's going to be a brilliant day. So heading towards Clearways, we're about to get the action going here at Brands Hatch. Round 6 of the Avon Tyres British GT Championship about to get underway here at Brands Hatch. Pole position on the left-hand side as we look at it is the Aston Martin of Andrew Howard. Alongside him is Lee Mole on the front row as the racing gets underway. 2 hours of frantic action begins with Paddock Hill Bend, and Howard manages to hold the lead from Lee Mole. Everyone, well, the top runners safely through. There's a look up the inside, I think, here from Ross Wiley trying to get through past the BMW, but he's not quite able to. Lee Mole sticks it to the outside of Andrew Howard, but isn't able to pass. So the top 4, 5, 6, all as you were on the run down. Ahmed Al-Hadi has made up a place. He's got past Gary Eastwood in that Ferrari, but a pretty calm start, and Andrew Howard is the man who is leading the way. They've had a number of pole positions so far this year, but at Silverstone and at Rockingham, Andrew Howard has made little mistakes that have meant they've lost the lead, but here they've kept it. Yeah, very, very sensible start by everybody. Not that sort of typical cloud of dust that we normally see at the gravel at Paddock. So yeah, a nice clean start. I think they're all really looking forward to doing the 2-hour stint around this beautiful circuit. So why throw it away at the first corner? Let's have a nice clean start and let do
battle commence. We got into
there's an
Westfield
attack.
there.
Goodness me, that was brave stuff as John Minshaw tried to force his way through. Wasn't quite able to do so, had to take to the grass, and as a result he may lose a couple of places. But here are our top three coming through the left-hander of Sterling's for the first time, and then down towards Clearways, and it's Howard leading the way, but he has got very much close attention from Lee Mole and Ross Wiley, who have come with him as they come out onto the start-finish straight again. Wiley has got a lot of speed in that Von Ryan Racing McLaren 650S. Down towards Paddock Hill Bend. Is he going to be close enough for a look? No, he's not. But the Von Ryan team coming on leaps and bounds with that 650S. They won the Blancpain Endurance Series race at Silverstone. They were running 1 and 2 in the Spa 24 Hours last weekend as well. Didn't manage to keep it all together after the 24 hours, but nevertheless, it was a great start from them. As far as GT4 is concerned, it looks as though we've got Will Moore up into the lead of the class. So Moore leads that class. Paul McNeely's dropped down to second position. Oz Yusuf from second on the grid in class has dropped down to fourth spot. So all very busy here as Rick Parfitt makes a move up the inside of the 32 Team LNT Ginetta of Steve Tandy. But that would have been not quite team orders, but you see your teammate coming in the mirrors and you don't fight him too hard. And now Godfrey Jones is the man trying to attack Tandy as well on the run up towards the right-hander at Hawthorns, and he's managed to make it through. So 2 positions lost there for Steve Tandy in as many corners. But here are our race leaders. Howard leading.
Yeah, Howard leading. Some great moves actually on the way into Hawthorns and Westfield as well, as we saw Minshaw the lap before getting up on the inside of Westfield, and that is a very, very quick corner. Hopefully he hasn't done his car too much damage from the previous incident that we saw. But yeah, all cars running smoothly at the moment.
It's Derek Johnson that Minshaw is trying to get past in their battle over 9th position. Johnson out there in the number 17 TF Sport Aston Martin. Across the line come our 3 leaders, and they're really making a bit of a break to Marco Attard, the championship leader, who's in 4th place at the moment. But the problem that the Aston Martin guys are going to have is they've got to have a 20-second longer pit stop than their rivals, and on a circuit like this, that's going to be a challenge. Yeah,
that really is going to punish them quite hard when they come into the pits for their driver change and their tyre change, etc. So yeah, that is going to punish them, unfortunately. But they're just making hay while the sun shines at the moment. The lights are on of Howard's car. You can see that he's on a definite mission, as he got that really brightly coloured BMW, the Demon Twigs Minshaw car there. Really does stand out in a crowd. Looks like he's on a right mission as well.
They've got a lot of work to do as well, because their second place in Spa means that they have to serve 15 seconds in the pits. And if you think 20 seconds while you're leading the race is bad enough, 15 seconds while you're in 10th position is nowhere near ideal. So the race is starting to settle down. 116 minutes to go, so we've only had 4 minutes of action so far. Very much one of the longer races here. We've got battles going on here as Fletcher in the Toyota makes his way up and past. So that was a good move from Fletcher. As I say, they're having to return from the back of the grid. We've also got one of the Academy Motorsport Astons looking up the inside, but not quite able to get past. It's Patterson in the Tolman Ginetta who's under an awful lot of pressure there.
Go back to the green and white Toyota. They had a bit of an engine trouble, so they couldn't make the qualifying, unfortunately, so they had to start from the back of the grid. But Hodgetts and Fletcher have been reunited again. Fletcher used to race Formula 4, as you very well know, Jack, and they've been reunited. So Steph Hodgetts bigging up his teammate, saying that he's going to be on a bit of a charge on the back of the grid.
We've had a bit of a shuffle on that last lap, so John Minshaw has managed to get past the 17 TF Sport car of Derek Johnston that he was battling with. So Minshaw's now find himself up in 9th place, and Rick Parfitt Jr. managed to follow him through as well. So they are now right on the back of Gary Eastwood in his FF Corsa Ferrari, who's running in 8th place at the moment. But it's Andrew Howard who set the fastest lap of the race last time around, as they see Alistair McKinnon at the back of the GT3 pack at the moment. Surprised to see them running that far down, really. They're a very strong outfit, that Ram Racing squad, and they've been running at the front of the order for most of the season so far. So McKinnon not really getting it hooked up at the moment.
Let's hope so on board now with Parfitt, I believe. We're on board.
This is McNeely. This is Paul McNeely in the Fox Motorsports car.
So we just spoke to Jamie Stanley on the grid, or Jenny did earlier on, and you know, it's their local circuit. They've had a lot of luck here coming through Hawthorns. What a fantastic corner. It's nearly not quite flat out, but you've got to keep the power going, keep the momentum going down that little drag, then on to way into Westfield. as we pick up then the other Ginetta and Aston Martin a little bit further down the field, coming through exactly the same corner we were on board with earlier.
Yeah, it's the battle for 25th overall at the moment, and it's David Patterson who is having to defend pretty heavily from the Academy Motorsport Aston Martin of Chris Webster behind him. But this is the second place car in GT4 that we're on board with then. Paul McNeely in that 48 Fox Motorsport machine, emerging out once again. He's got a little bit of pressure from Alexander Sherpen behind. Well, actually quite a lot of pressure from Alexander Sherpen behind.
Yeah, quite a lot. While
up in front is the other Academy car of Will Moore, teammate of Dennis Strandberg.
I think Stanley will be quite happy with that. It's quite a good, solid performance there from from his teammate, who's second at the moment in the Ginetta, as we're looking at now. So as they come up into Druids, yeah, he's got a lot of pressure there. There's a move will be done at some point, unless they're just going to play sensible and just stay as they are. But I very much doubt it. This is British GT racing after all.
Yeah, it's Alexander Sherpen, the man in third place at the moment in the
Howard's
Ginetta
pulled away as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jack, to cut it. Howard has had a really good, solid couple of laps there. His lap times are quick, hence he's done the fastest lap of the race, as we've just mentioned, but he really has pulled out a nice, comfortable 4 or 5 car gap lead.
Yeah, 1.4 seconds, and we've also got a very lonely running Minshaw now. Has he managed to get past Gary Eastwood? We'll try and keep an eye out for that one. I think Howard... and they're off into the gravel trap. Not good news for Rick Parfitt. So I wonder if there's been a bit of commotion, because Minshaw suddenly looked all by himself out there, and he was running with Rick Parfitt out there on the track. So that's not good news for Parfitt. They're trying to push the Ginetta out of the gravel trap at the moment. Not 100% sure where that is on the circuit, but he is absolutely beached. And I think Howard pulling away is more to do with Mole dropping back into the clutches of Ross Wiley here.
Yeah, and starting to defend, really. And just looking at the window, looking at the Minshaw BMW coming past, it looked okay, but you never know whether it's got sort of bits of bodywork damage that we'll probably pick up a little bit later. And I was just about to mention about Rick Parfitt, is he going to have any luck?
No.
And I'm glad I didn't say that, because it's nothing to do with me, what just happened.
Here comes Ross Wiley as they come down Pilgrim's Drop, tucked right up behind the BMW. Looks one way, looks the other, but Hawthorne's not really an overtaking opportunity. Lee Moll will try and hold on. It's the second time he's raced the 888 BMW here this year. He was out in the Blancpain Sprint Series earlier on this season, and they had a very good run, actually. Didn't get the results at the end of the day, but were running well up in the top 10 in one of the toughest GT Sprint Series in the world. A look towards the inside, that's the move being made, and I don't think Lee Moll's seen him coming. They're side by side, round goes Wiley, and they have to sweep out of the way. Andrew Watson can't believe it. I'm not sure if Lee Moll realised that Ross Wiley was making that move. And he's gone into the gravel, and he's just about kept it going.
Just kept it going, yeah.
Disaster for the Von Ryan team.
It was a great move, an absolutely perfectly executed move, but literally just, I don't think he saw him and just cut his nose off. To spite his face, excuse the pun, and literally just spun him round. What an absolute shame. That was such a good little battle just starting to commence there. What a shame. You can see the heartache that happens in the pits as well. This is a team effort, and everybody feels the pain.
So we've lost a lot of time for Gary Eastwood as well. He is now a lap down on everyone else, and the contact between 18 and 44 is under investigation at the end of the race. So I think Gary Eastwood and Rick Parfitt are the two drivers that came together out there on the circuit. But we've already just seen Ross Wiley rotating after making what seemed like a good move on Lee Moll, but Moll holding on to that second place. That all promotes championship leader Marco Attard in this Acuria Cost BMW up into third position, and he's under pressure from Andrew Jarman behind, and who is running in the TF Sport Aston Martin, and behind him is Liam Griffin, and behind him is Ahmed El-Hathi. So Marco Attard will look in his rearview mirror and see 3-4 Aston Martins all coming at him, trying to make up a move. So it's Andrew Howard leading the way in what has been a frantic opening 10 minutes of the race here, and the contact between car 10 and 888 is under investigation as well, so we'll see what these stewards decide about that. We've still got an hour and 50 minutes remaining here at Brands. Here comes Andrew Jarman looking to the inside line at Paddock Hill Bend, trying to take third place away from Marco Attard in front of him. It hasn't worked out, and that means that Liam Griffin could have an opportunity to try and get past Jarman. He's going to look to the outside. They've got one of the Stratton Evoras in the way to get past in the GT4 class. They've managed to do that reasonably swiftly, but that attack from Andrew Jarman as he tried to take third place from Marco Attard put him into the clutches of Liam Griffin behind.
Yeah, and Griffin definitely was hindered there by the back marker because he had two wheels literally around the outside of Druids there, and if it had kept his nose in all the way down into Graham Hill, he would have kept it, and the move would have been done. But Marco Attard, as we know, very leader of the championship, he needs to be very, very careful it doesn't get taken out. So here's a replay.
Ross Wiley up the inside. He certainly gets. I think the move was on.
Yeah,
I think it was legitimate to be there. But how squeezed did he get? Oh, he did get put on the grass.
Yeah, it was a definite error by the BMW.
There we go.
There's
Charlie Butler Henderson's verdict.
Well, he was literally
Judge
level.
Charlie.
So, yeah, it was a very positive move, and it was done. Literally, it was 100% done until.
Big moment for Liam Griffin on the exit of Stirlings. Keeps it together, but that could put him under pressure from Al Harthy as they come down into clearways. Not close enough, and Griffin holds on to that 5th place for the time being.
As I say, we were talking earlier, Jack, saying that Brands Hatch is a proper driver circuit. Yeah. There's very little runoff, and you don't want to go sideways on the exit of Stirling there because you've literally got barriers either side of you. So literally, the car would have been very, very sideways there, and the driver would have been going, I'm glad I got away with that one.
An hour stint around here in a GT3 car is tough.
Yeah, it's very, very full on. But from a positive side, from what we saw with the BMW and the McLaren earlier, let's see that McLaren pull its way through the grid now. Hopefully it won't be too damaged, and a little bit of cosmetic damage we saw, but hopefully that won't affect the aerodynamic package on the McLaren, and it'd be interesting to see the pace of that car with a bit of red mist pulling its way through the field.
Race leader 007, the Beech Dean Aston Martin of Andrew Howard. Now they've got a 20-second pit lane penalty, and at the moment they are 5 seconds ahead of Lee Mole, so that's not too bad a job really from Howard. It's still not ideal, but we've only been going for some 13 minutes, and there you can see the 63 BMW of John Minshaw has rejoined the fight. Meanwhile, we've got battles further back in the GT4 pack, and this is all the battle for second place essentially. The race leaders on and up the road, and then we've got in second place Alexander Sherpen, so he's got past Paul McNeely, and McNeely in the Fox Motorsports Ginetta, the number 48 car, coming into the left-hander now, is under a lot of pressure from Oz Yusuf, and isn't troubling the apex at Graham Hill Bend.
Yeah, lots of pressure there from the Lotus of Yusuf as he goes up the inside again. Yes, can he make the move stick? Difficult place to pass here because you're sacrificing to be slower down the straight there unless you run wide, which we've done on our onboard camera car. So the Lotus is pretty much beside us now, and it's going to be a drag race down who's going to be the latest and the bravest on the brakes as they go into the very fast 110 miles an hour Hawthorns corner. Dab the brakes, down a gear, turn. Look at that, 2 or 3 cars nearly abreast as they go into Hawthorns. Fantastic stuff from here, and we're only into the first 15 minutes of the British GT race here at Brands Hatch. Awesome.
They've got Graham Johnson in the World Motorsport Expo car right up behind, and I think he might be having a look at McNeely. He is. So he goes through. And off goes McNeely into the gravel trap. And that is he's going to be beached there, I think, and that could potentially bring out a safety car, which is the last thing Andrew Howard would want. But that contact sort of came out of nowhere. They were on the... I mean, it's not exactly a straight up towards the right-hander, but it wasn't a corner.
Yeah, I don't really see any necessity for a bit of contact there, really. They were both side by side, and it was just a little bit of a tap, really. So let's have a look at a closer replay. So they're coming up into Dingledale now. So, he moves over on us. Yeah, that was very unnecessary there. He's got the move. Got the move done, and just a bit boisterous there, and just gave us a little tag and spun us off into the gravel there. It is in quite a precarious place there as well, so hopefully not for Howard. Howard flashing his lights there, get back markers already.
Yep, he's coming up on one of the Academy Motorsport Aston Martins. What have we got here? We've got the attack from Ahmed El Harthy trying to find his way past Liam Griffin in the battle over 5th place as they come through Paddock Hill Bend.
Fantastic stuff. This is all for pretty much 2nd, 3rd place, isn't it? It's brilliant.
Yeah, this exact move is on 5th.
Shame.
It is a shame. It's Jamie Stanley, the man who was due to take over that car. It's his home track, and he loves it here. He's won Lotus races here. I think he won the Lotus 12-hour 1,000-kilometre race here a couple of years ago as well. Look how close that battle is now, and it's Marco Attard who's under pressure. So there's our race leader, Andrew Howard, and then 2.5 seconds behind him is Lee Mole. So he's lost quite a bit of time in the traffic. And there is Andrew Howard watching him as he turns into Hawthorne Bend.
And it's a very, very concentrated Andrew Howard and a very concentrated teammate as well.
So that's Johnny Adam who will be taking over. So he leads. Lee Mole's all alone in second place there in the BMW, but then it's raging for third position. It was Marco Attard. It still is Marco Attard by the looks of things. And there is the Fox Motorsport Ginetta off at the side of the circuit still. It is Attard, but he has got a lot of pressure from behind, and he looks to the inside of the GT4 Aston as they come through the left-hander. That could put him under a bit of pressure from Andrew Jarman behind. Jarman looks to the inside at Clearways, late on the brakes on the grass, and he spins. Attard keeps on going. Jarman's in the gravel trap. Everyone else managed to avoid him. I'm not sure how Marco Attard is still facing the right way, but the action's not stopping here, because here now comes Ahmed Al-Hadi again, trying to find his way past Liam Griffin and up into fourth place, but he's not able to do it. Might be able to get the cut back on the run up towards Druids, but I think Liam Griffin will cover that one quite easily. So Howard leads, Lee Mole in second, Attard in third, Liam Griffin in fourth, Al-Hadi in fifth, and it's sixth for John Minshaw, and it's Andrew Jarman in the gravel trap.
Whoa, if I was David Bartram there. David Bartram absolutely having kittens there. He's got no nails left as it is, let alone giving him more aggro to deal with. Oh, two teammates, the orange and black Aston, as you can see, and the white and blue Aston that we can see there, passing the Toyota as they come down towards Hawthorns. I bet he's definitely having kittens. I know him well, and he's not going to be enjoying that at all.
They kept it clean.
Yeah, true.
They got away with it.
Unlike the people in front of them.
Yeah, unlike that man.
Yes.
Andrew Jarman, who
it looked like a good move. It looked like a good move, but he took a bit of grass and curb on the inside. It bounced the car up into the air and then spun round in front of Attard.
So we've got the double wave yellows up at Stirling's, and here's a look at the contact again.
So just a tiny bit of contact,
touch, wasn't it?
tiny bit of contact, and then that just set the car light. The cars are pretty light there as they're climbing up the hill into Dingledale, and a real shame for that team. I'm absolutely gutted for them.
And this is the battle for the lead of the race that has closed in dramatically. It's now down to just 0.2 of a second between Andrew Howard in the lead in the Beechley Aston Martin and Lee Mole in the 888 BMW. Over the past few laps, whether it's traffic related or whether it's pace related, Lee Mole has hauled his way back into the back of that Aston Martin. We've got a live snatch going on the exit of Clearways, double waved yellows there as they recover Andrew Jarman's car, so that means we shouldn't have a safety car, but gap for the lead has really come down.
Yeah, that's massively decreased there, as you can see there. Johnny Adam, a very comfortable lead they've just had, and is now talking to probably some of his team or even Andrew there. He's just pushing a button on his headset, giving them access to talk to whoever they want to in the team as well. But yeah, Adam under threat, but it seems to have pulled a little bit more of a gap now. Maybe he's quick at some parts of the circuit. Let's assess that as we get the camera footage for the next few laps. But he's quick some places, but maybe not all over the whole lap.
So there are our first and second place cars. Then the battle is on for third position as well. Marco Attard under so much pressure, and I guess it was similar at Alton Park. We didn't. Oh, and Minshaw's run wide there as he tries to push. It looks as though Graham Coombs in the GT4 Porsche has held up these guys a little bit, because that has allowed Marco Attard to break free a little bit, and Liam Griffin to have the other Aston Martin of Ahmed Al-Hadi right up behind him. Now they're going to try and lap him here, but they're going into a yellow flag zone.
So from Stirling all the way to Clearways is now yellow flag. Now the green flag should commence, and you can now get back racing again once you pass the next marshal's post.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I think Griffin. Well, it's difficult when the other class, the GT4, if they get off the throttle to let you through in a yellow flag zone. Yeah. What can you do? You can't all stand on the brakes.
You'd have to take the move. So let's look at a replay.
This is Andrew Jarman then.
And okay, so back to Andrew Howard, flashing his lights frantically, still going, I need the gap to continue. Stop letting me get the second place man to catch me up. I need this space. Come on, move. And it's the teammate car, the sister car.
And they will move out of the way pretty swiftly, I think. Yep, that's pretty much done.
Easily.
So
easily moved out of the way.
We'll try and get that replay of Andrew Jarman incident to you in just a little moment's time. A little look from the inside and a cheeky little chop off there. So here's Andrew Jarman up the inside of Attard.
It was a very committed move, and if it had stuck, fair play, but he was very lucky that it didn't get neglected by the other Aston at the motorbase, the orange and black car.
Go on then, Judge Charlie, what's the racing incident?
Oh, that's a tough one. You're putting so much pressure on me now. Well, he's made it back into the pits.
Yeah,
so that's gravel everywhere.
Yeah, 3 laps down, Andrew Jarman, as he comes back into the pit lane. Now it's all closed in for the lead of GT4 as well, hasn't it? So it's the 61 Academy Motorsport Aston Martin of Will Moore who's leading it. Alexander Sherpen is now just 0.3 of a second behind him, and Oz Yusuf is just 0.6 of a second behind him, as we see the Jarman and Fannin Aston Martin coming into the pits. A real shame, because Eurostar have got loads of guests here this weekend. They couldn't get down through the tunnel because of Eurostar guests making their way through. Obviously not far from Folkestone and the like, but I don't think it'll be the happiest of camps up there at the moment, as Jarman is forced to pit and off there, and that is that's the 48 car getting going again.
Perfect. That's good. That's good stuff.
Yeah, but again, McNeely's going to be 4 laps down now. So
he's been quite clever, the fact that he's driving on the grass to get as much gravel out of the car as possible over the bumps and keep it off the tarmac as well.
So here's our GT4 lead battle, which is attempting to be overtaken by our race leader. So here comes Andrew Howard up the inside of the second place man, Alexander Sherpen. Now Sherpen will try and stick under the rear wing of Howard and try and pass the Academy Motorsport car at the same time for the lead of the class in GT4. So that's Will Moore in the silver and black Aston leading the GT4 class. GT3 race leader trying to get through as well. Looks to the inside line, and actually that hasn't worked out too well as Andrew Jarman gets out of the car. Very frustrated, no doubt, and disappointed, but here they come, and
those GT4 guys really do need to watch their mirrors a little bit more. That, you know, Andrew Howard was all over them through the Dingledale and Stirling complex there and was having to weave from left to right. I know they're in their own race, but also part of the Ards course test, you still have to be able to allow for faster cars behind you and understand what's coming up behind you. So not great for Andrew Howard there.
Rick Parfitt has been given a drive-through penalty, so the
rotten luck.
The luck continues. It was for causing... the safety car's been deployed. So we've got the safety car deployed here at Brands Hatch. Not 100%. Oh, that's what's for, and it's the number 10 McLaren, and they've come together, I think,
with the Mercedes of the Joneses.
Can't quite make out. It might be the Joneses Mercedes.
It was.
But meanwhile, the number 2 Aston has come into the pits as well.
Yes, the Joneses got the blue on the door. Yeah.
Yeah. So Godfrey Jones and Ross Wiley have come together, and I think that I'm trying to figure out where that is on the circuit, but wherever it is, they're in the gravel trap, and that brings out the safety car. Now we saw the number 2 Aston Martin pit just then.
I think it's at Dingledale again. I think it's quite shaded there by the trees. I'm pretty sure that might be Dingledale.
Okay, but yeah, it is those 2 cars that have come together. But the number 2 Aston Martin of Ahmed Al Haathi came into the pits. I don't think there was a driver change because it's very early for that. So that's unusual. That's very unusual. So maybe a problem or something like that at the number 2 Aston Martin garage. But well, that's twice off the road now for Ross Wiley. Unfortunately, we don't have what happened between those 2 cars.
That's a very expensive kitty litter, isn't it? A McLaren and a Mercedes SLS.
Yeah, so
it's a real shame.
Yeah, it's exit of Stirling's.
Exit of Stirling's.
Yeah, so
a bit random.
I mean, I presume one's gone up the inside.
And they've just taken each other off.
Yeah, or he's because that's where Ross Wiley ended up.
Yes, that was
earlier on. So maybe
he's now on the outside.
Yeah, so maybe a similar manoeuvre. Maybe he's thought going to the inside didn't work last time. I got taken out. I'll try the outside. He's got maybe just stick to Druids. But no, a real shame for Ross Wiley. So safety car comes out, and that means that it all closes up at the front.
Which is
Andrew
good for
Howard
us.
Leading the way, but it's bad for Andrew Howard.
Very bad for the Beach Team team. Yes, very bad.
So it's Andrew Howard leading, Lee Mole in second place with the 888 BMW, Marco Attard, championship leader, still in third. Despite all the action, it sort of hasn't really changed the order much up at the front. We've still got Liam Griffin in fourth, still John Minshaw in fifth, Derek Johnson completing the top 6. Mark Farmer in 7th, McKinnon 8th, 9th for Steve Tandy, 10th for Hector Lester, and 11th for Ahmed Al-Hati. And it's in GT4, it's still Will Moore leading the way just in front of Alexander Sherpan. So what a fantastic race it's been so far. Still got over an hour and a half to go, but while the safety car's out, we'll have a little bit of a break here on Motors TV. Match for our live coverage of the Avon Tyres British GT Championship. We're on the safety car after an incident between Ross Riley and David Jones. It was who started that car, I believe. My apologies. But yes, they went off into the gravel at Stirling's. As far as the race is concerned, it's Andrew Howard and Johnny Adam who are leading, but they've got a 20-second time penalty to take in the pit stops as a result of their success in the previous round in Spa-Francorchamps. Behind him is, and that is Andrew Howard we're looking at here, who announced in Spa that he's sort of probably going to step back from racing in British GT at the end of this year and focus on other things. So actually we can now hear from Andrew Watson, the teammate of Ross Wiley. He's down in the Von Ryan pit garage with Jenny Gow.
Yeah, Andrew, just tell us what the team is saying, and you're obviously across exactly the communication from the car as well.
Yeah, they're just towing the car in there at the minute. We're here to win, you know, so we have to have a go, and didn't work out today, but towing the car in there at the minute is obviously really disappointing. Our best qualifying of the season. Didn't go our way, but you know, we just have to see what the car is like now, and hopefully we can get out for a run anyway.
Do you know what Ross has said about the incident?
Yeah, he just, you know, we dropped back, he had to go at Lee. You know, we told him to have a go, we needed to get to the front. Had a go, and Lee didn't give him any room, so he got turned around, and then he was passed back up into 9th and going for 8th with the Mercedes, and same thing, the guy turned in on him, so it's pretty unlucky. You know, we're here to race and we're here to win, so you got to go for it. So it's annoying whenever you don't get given those gaps, but I suppose everyone's here to race.
Okay, I'm going to let you go because I think the car's coming back in. So thank you very much for speaking to us, and we'll see what the team can do.
Okay, so yeah, the car's just been released onto the track as we saw, so it's all going to get a bit busy in that Von Ryan pit, and that should also mean we should get racing back underway in a couple of minutes time, maybe even at the end of this lap. The marshals have done an excellent job. Thank you to all our marshals who are here this weekend and at every race circuit throughout the season. Could go racing without them. And
optimistic that he's putting his helmet on, but he's obviously reported back to the team and said car's fine, just a little bit of, it looks worse from our point of view with all the gravel and the pebble dash all over it, and a bit of bodywork damage really, but they're going to take the most of this and maybe use it as a pit stop.
So there's also contact under investigation between the Paul McNeely Fox Motorsport car and the
50 car, is it?
Yeah, World Motorsport, Expo Racing and Optimum Motorsport car of Graham Johnson. So they've obviously come together. We saw actually the McNeely off the circuit, didn't we? And we saw them come together coming up the hill.
That was the incident.
Yeah, so that is under investigation. And we've got there was a left rear puncture for Ahmed Al-Hati, we're hearing, in the number 2 Aston Martin. So that's why he came into the pits out of sequence, and as a result is now down in 11th position. And I mean, that's he's still on the lead lap in 11th place, so it's not a write-off, but it's not going to be easy because overtaking here at Brands Hatch is very difficult. Most people who've tried it today have ended up in the gravel.
Yeah, it does seem that way. You wouldn't have thought this was a 2-hour endurance race.
Oh, surely, that's usually when the safety car is coming down a start-finish straight, the red light's on at the end of the pit lane. I don't know if that was the case, but that kind of tends to be how it works. So that's just a bit of speculation at the moment.
Either way,
that is Davey Ryan there, the team boss.
That McLaren is definitely getting a lot of coverage, not necessarily how it probably needs it, but it's definitely in front of our eyes today as the stricken Jones brothers Mercedes is a real shame. But the McLaren did have a good race at Silverstone. Hit one. Yeah, which is good, but just not having as much luck this weekend. So he's weaving left and right off the racing line to try and get the loose gravel out of the car. So it literally goes into every single nook and cranny on the car possible, really, and it sounds terrible when you're in the car hearing all the stones coming out of the car. Not that I'd know, I haven't been in the gravel for a while. Oh, it's a shame. Why can't we get that car going again? It's obviously got...
I think they've tried. I think it's just a case of trying to... I think he's tried to turn it round, and ended up in the tyre wall the other side.
Being a race car, very, very little steering lock indeed.
Yeah.
Not much at all.
And these cars, of course, also have traction control, different levels of traction control, but sometimes you can try and just boot the rear end around and forget to turn off the traction control and just drive into the gravel trap. That happened to someone here a couple of years ago. It was Alex Zanardi, actually.
Yeah.
He spun coming out of the final corner, tried to do a donut to get going again, but forgot to turn off the traction control, so he just drove into the gravel trap and beached himself. So, but he claimed he was an old man, so that's why. Anyway, we're still behind the safety car.
Very fast old man.
Yeah, exactly.
So is this going to play into Andrew Howard's hands, with the McLaren then breaking up a little bit of gap, giving him a little bit of breathing space? Is the McLaren going to let everyone go? You know, we're not psychic, but there are rules, and Andrew Howard at the same time has had his work cut out from the moment the red lights went out today for the start of the race.
Ross Wiley will... Andrew Watson took it over, didn't he, actually? So they will receive. The safety car comes in then, and the racing gets back underway. And it's Andrew Howard who leads them across the line, and the race restarts here. And Lee Mole jumps back up into second position.
But a long way behind Howard, though.
Yeah, absolutely, as now everyone has to filter themselves out into the various GT4 and GT3 battles. I think that was a pretty late call, wasn't it, from the safety car? I'm sure the lights were on as they came under the bridge towards Clearways, so apologies for that, everybody, but we have got racing back underway here at Brands Hatch with 85 minutes to go. We're approaching the sort of pit stop window area as well, and there are the positions after 20 laps of racing on the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. Howard leads, Lee Mole in second place, but Howard has to serve this 20-second pit stop penalty after winning last time out.
Success penalty, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Marco Attard slots his way through. I don't think we've had any positional changes in all of that as they try and make their way past the GT4 leader, which is Will Moore, side by side, and that could put Moore wide, perhaps under pressure for the lead of GT4, because he's got Alexander Sherpen, who is coming right up behind him to try and make a move in the Century Motorsport Ginetta, but it's as you were for the time being.
BMW of Minshaw, the Demon Tweets car, looks very, very quick. Yeah. Really under attack, you know, the Aston Martin, the motor-based Aston Martin up ahead. Lights are flashing there as we're talking, literally lights are flashing very frantically from the Z4 of the BMW.
So 85 minutes to go, and here is Minshaw, desperate to try and find a way past Liam Griffin. They're battling over fourth position, down through Paddock Hill Bend. That's Marco Attard in third in the Acuria Cos, black and blue BMW Z4. And then the other Barwell car, the Demon Tweaks machine, running further back in fifth position at the moment. And behind them, about 3 seconds further back down the road, is Derek Johnson in the TF Sport Aston Martin. And then Mark Farmer in the number 11 Aston Martin. It's nice to see them doing well. They were running very strongly in Silverstone before they had a big old accident coming out of club, wasn't it, onto the wing start-finish straight.
Yeah, I remember that. Nasty. Attard's leading the championship, correct, Jack?
Correct.
Yes, correct. So he's been in the wars a little bit today, and when you're leading a championship, you feel like you're trying to wrap yourself in cotton wool without anyone hitting you, and it proves that everyone wants to attack you, knowing that you're feeling that you want to drive a safe race, you want to get points, so people try and, in theory, sort of push the boundaries a little bit by being aggressive and trying to overtake you. So he's in quite a difficult position there. He's trying to hold his place, but he's got these guys behind him that are trying to get the position to get the podium and the points. It's a bit of a catch-22, so a tough race for Attard and Sims throughout this afternoon.
There's Howard leading the way across the line, Lee Mole behind, and then the McLaren is a couple of laps down in the hands of Ross Wiley, so it's still Ross Wiley at the wheel. We saw Andrew Watson getting ready to go out, but it's still Wiley who is piloting that car at the moment. Then we've got our GT4 leader across the line, and they've pulled out a good advantage here as they come into the right-hander. Moore is now 2.5 seconds clear of Alexander Sherpen, who's second in class. Meanwhile, the battle between Steve Tandy and Alistair McKinnon is raging. So it's Steve Tandy in that orange GT3 Ginetta. They've both just passed the GT4 leader. It's Alistair McKinnon in the Ram Racing Mercedes behind, and then it's Ahmed Al-Haathi who is in 10th place overall.
With that fresh tyre from the puncher.
Yep, exactly, so he's just made his way past. 3rd and 4th in class there, Oz Yusuf and Graham Johnson in the 50 car. That's their 3rd and 4th in the GT4 class. And then Jamie Chadwick's 5th in class at the moment in the Beechstein Aston Martin, not too far behind that. And there's the Alistair McKinnon, and off. Oh. That's Ahmed El Haathi. He's just pulled off the road, coming out towards the dip.
Yeah, that's coming out of the Indy circuit onto the Grand Prix loop, out of Surtees. Yeah, just pulled over the left-hand side.
So that is a very surprising retirement, really, because they tend to be very, very good. And here's Marco Attard, and Attard's lost out to Liam Griffin. So somewhere out there, Liam Griffin has got through into 3rd position past Marco Attard, and John Minshaw is now running in 5th place. Here's a replay on board with Attard, coming up towards Druids, covers the inside line. No, he doesn't.
Literally, Griffin just outbraked him and says, have some of that. I'm coming up the inside, job done. So he must have got a really good run out of Paddock Hill Bend to get the momentum. And Attard left a little bit of a gap there, because remember, he's got to keep this car going to get the championship points. Like I said earlier, he's still got to attack, but he's going to be under attack because he still needs the points. It's such a difficult position to be in with that when you're leading a championship.
And now it's the 2 Barwell cars that are going to be running nose to tail, the Acuria Cos branded car and the Team Russia Demon Tweaks machine as well. So Attard and Minshaw in 4th and 5th positions as they come up towards Hawthorns.
So Griffin in the other motor-based car is doing a lot better than the one that we've just passed, statically pulled over on the left-hand side, which is a real shame for the team, knowing that they've put in such hard work and effort from coming back from Spa. And it's been a nightmare for all of the teams, really, that took part in the 24-hour race at Spa last weekend.
Yeah, Al Haathi and Daniel Lloyd have had such a difficult season. The pace has been there for most, if not all, of the year, but they picked up 1 point out of the 2 races at Oulton Park, no points at Spa, and there you can see Al Haathi out of the car, out of the race, and out of luck.
Looking for a moped to try and get back to the base, because he's a long way away. Got to go all the way around the outside of Druids and Paddock to get back into the pit garages. He would inform the team on the radio, I would have thought, unless it was an electrical failure, and told them what was wrong with the car, and they'll be able to either get the spares ready if the car can get back to the pits. But to me, that looks pretty terminal.
So here's the battle now between the BMWs over 4th position. John Minshaw looks to the inside, coming into Graham Hill Bend. Attard started to turn in, then saw him coming and gave him room. So that's John Minshaw up into 4th position in the number... Oh, and off again. That's Rick Parfitt. He's gone properly off this time.
That's a big off, that one. He's slamming the door with frustration. Did he do it on his own? Was he helped?
And that's Sterling's.
That's...
No, I mean...
that's Dingledell.
Dingledell, sorry.
Yeah, or Sheen is the new name for it, but we all know it still as Dingledell.
I mean, it's the camera at Sterling's.
Yeah.
But yes, Rick Parfitt out of the race, whether that was by himself or assisted, not sure at the moment. He crossed the line, but he was well down the order. Well, let's see what happened. He's going to come into shot in a moment. Oh, straight on.
Didn't even turn.
Oh, that's unusual.
The way he slammed the door as well will signify either it was a mechanical failure and he's getting cross and annoyed, or just with himself, really. It's a 50-50, really, that one, but not a place you want to go off. That's a very, very quick right-hander, that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, 78 minutes to go. Andrew Howard continues to lead this race, but we are only sort of 8 minutes or so away from the opening of the pit stop window. There's no official pit stop window, as it were, but there's a minimum and maximum amount of time that drivers are allowed to do, and Ahmed El Haathi has not reached his minimum. And there you can see a
motorbase,
motorbase,
a David Bartram meeting.
I'm sure Jenny's down there to try and find out what the problem is, and as soon as we know, we'll let you know.
He doesn't look very athletic, but I tell you what, I've seen him running around the pits quite a lot today. He's really on a mission today. So,
as they come down towards the right-hander, this is Oz Yusuf, who's running in 2nd place. He is still in GT4, that is, just in front of the 50 car of Graham Johnson. And here's our race leader, Andrew Howard, who's got the gap back up to 2.5 seconds to Lee Mole in 2nd place. And then, I mean, the sad thing about this is that You got Ross Wiley there running in third with great pace, closing in on these guys.
Just about to say that because I saw it there, you know, still looking like it could get a podium, but he's way down, obviously, because of the incidents that McLaren's been involved in, which is a real shame. But the pace is definitely there. I'll keep an eye on the lap times and inform you of how he's doing next time round. But Andrew Howard there has dealt with a couple of safety cars now. Hassle, pressure from the people behind, avoiding incidents on the track. Very, very 100% concentration. He won't step down from racing. Of course he won't. Of course he won't. Once you've got the bug, you've always got the bug. He'll carry on.
Well, I don't think he's going to stop racing. I think he's just going to move away from British GT. We'll have to wait and see. So let's go down to the pits to find out what news Jenny Gow has for us.
Yeah. So, Daniel, down here with you. Just tell us what the problem is with the car, first and foremost.
We think it's lost drive. We got hit quite a few laps ago, which caused a puncture, which is why we had to come in. There looked like it was some damage on the rear left tyre. So we think it's just damaged the drive shaft, and we're pulled up at the side of the circuit.
Incredibly frustrating on a race like this, but nothing you can do, really.
No, it looked to be going well. We were from 8th up to 4th. We would have been in a shout with a decent result, so yeah, big shame.
I suppose the only benefit is the sister cars going well. You can just see actually in the background Rory Butch is just getting his helmet ready, so we presume a pit stop, so no thought of any links between them, because obviously yours was caused by that contact.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know the full details, but I think we got hit under double yellow flags as well, which isn't great to hear, but hopefully the sister car can get a good result for our team.
All right, thanks very much. Sorry about that.
Cheers.
Okay, good to hear there from Daniel Lloyd. It was all very frantic at certain points with the sister car in there of Liam Griffin as well. John Minshaw involved in that fight, and just wonder whether a bit of contact, I mean, it would have to be quite a big contact, wouldn't it, to kind of make the car stop?
Yeah.
If the only cosmetic damage was a slow puncture, I don't know.
I don't know which tyre was changed, whether it was left or right, sorry. But it would be either somebody turning in on him and just whacking the rear, and that would have affected the drive shaft and a bit of the suspension.
So a really commanding performance in GT4 at the moment by Will Moore. He is comfortably clear at the front, but Oz Yusuf has managed to get through into second position in GT4. He and Johnson now running in second and third place, with Jamie Chadwick in fourth position in class, and Yusuf and Johnson absolutely nose to tail for most of this race. But Will Moore, who's leading the GT4 race for the Academy Motorsport team, has, well, I'll tell you now because he's just come across the line. It's 4.4 seconds the advantage, so really impressive stuff. But this is Andrew Howard, who is impressively leading GT3 at the moment here at Brands Hatch. 74 minutes to go. The look of concentration as Howard turns into clearways, leading this race with 74 minutes to go.
He went through Hawthorns a minute ago when we were looking at the onboard footage of him with his race helmet on, you know, fully concentrating in the car, and he's sort of gesticulating to the marshals with one finger, like pointing forwards as if, look ahead, or I'm coming in, or one more lap or something. It was all a little bit weird, really. So don't quite know what that was symbolising as he was going through Hawthorns, as he's making his way through Druids, as we pick him up going down now into the tightish left, but fairly quick tight left of Graham Hill. Not running too wide. If you run too wide, there are cameras on that corner, and also little magnetic strips as well, little sensors.
He is having to walk.
Yes.
That's Rick Parfitt having to walk all the way back around. And this is the battle then for second place in GT4. Oz Yusuf with the Easy Racing Lotus Evora is really under pressure from that World Motorsport Expo. Ginetta behind, being driven at the moment by Graham Johnson as they come out, and Jamie Chadwick has closed in on them too. So Chadwick now in this three-way fight over second position. The pit stop window will open in about 2.5 minutes time. As I say, it's not a window, but you have to do a minimum of 50 minutes driving time. This second place battle in GT4 climbs up the hill towards Druids. Great to see GT4 doing so well this season.
Great for the championship as well. Lotus, Ginetta, Aston Martin fighting for the lead, and then we've got BMW, Aston Martin further back, you know, in the GT3 battle. So it's absolutely phenomenal, the mix of cars in this championship.
Yep, absolutely is. Andrew Howard has just crossed the line, and his lead is up to 2.4 seconds now over Lee Mole. Liam Griffin is running in third place. but it's still Will Moore who's leading the way, and it's side by side almost for second position. Looks as though Graham Johnson got a good run coming out of Surtees. Now he's going to challenge Oz Yusuf on the run down into the right-hander, but he's not close enough this time around.
Lotus has got some pace, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was very, very quick, very nimble out of Surtees. But it looks like the Ginetta's got more downforce or a little bit more grip through the faster corners, or a braver driver. One of the three things that I've just listed, because he seems to really sort of be all over him. Through they go, Dingledale, the blind right-hander. If you run wide, it's going to collect you onto the grass, and you're going to have a big off. And they go through left, then into a slightly banked corner, into the trees as well. It's sort of a bit weird that the shadedness of the circuit just sort of affects your eyes a little bit as you go through that section of the circuit.
And these are our three GT4 championship protagonists as well. So the 77 leading Evora, well, second in the class on the road at the moment, but at the moment it's second in the championship too, Oz Yusuf and Gavin Kershaw. Leading the championship is Jamie Chadwick and Ross Gunn, which is that Beechstein Aston Martin that is running fourth overall, third in this queue, and second and third in the championship is Mike Robinson and Graham Johnson, who are running third overall at the moment, and they're on 73 points. So it's quite spread out at the top of GT4, but these are our top three. 120 for the Aston Martin, 99 points for the Lotus, 73 points for the Ginetta that's sandwiched in the middle of them at the moment as they turn through the left-hander of Surtees. That's our leader, the Academy Motorsport car of Will Moore and Dennis Strandberg. But again, Graham Johnson just looking to try and find a way past Oz Yusuf. It's easy to catch, but it's another thing to overtake, and that's what Jamie Chadwick will be experiencing in a moment when she gets up to the back of the Ginetta in front. Andrew Howard has extended his lead to 2.8 seconds up at the front. Liam Griffin is closing in slightly on Lee Mole in second place. So we've got less than 70 minutes to go now. 50 minutes of this 2-hour race gone, and we've got frantic battles throughout the order. Up in the lead of the race is Andrew Howard, but this is the battle over second place in GT4 between the three championship protagonists, and now that's going to be the Lotus coming into the pits. So Oz Yusuf decides to pit and hand over to Gavin Kershaw. The big winner out of all of that battle has to be Jamie Chadwick in the Beechstein Aston, because she was a good couple of seconds further back, and now she's going for the move. Late on the brakes into Paddock Hill Bend, and Chadwick is through, is she? No. Fantastic stuff from Graham Johnson to hold it all the way around the outside. He then covers the inside line at Druids, but Chadwick came from nowhere there.
Yeah, it came from absolute nowhere. The Lotus and the Ginetta battling it out, tripping over themselves, and Chadwick just took advantage. Look, this is where the pit lane gets absolutely crazy, really mental in here right now.
So in comes race leader Aston Martin. So Andrew Howard in, and the 888 car comes in now. Just to reiterate, they have to wait in the pits for 20 seconds longer than anyone else, do Andrew Howard and Johnny Adam, because of winning the race at Spa-Francorchamps last time out. So that means, in theory, we'll see that 888 BMW go into the lead of the race, is pretty much the general thinking. But we'll see whether that happens.
And then Johnny Adam earning his money and basically hell for leather and getting on with it and seeing if he can claw back that 20 seconds.
They won here last year, but they didn't have the pit time penalty this time last year. There you can see the GT4 classification. There's the 888. There's Johnny Adam getting into the 007 Aston Martin.
That's a great shot, that. We can try and keep an eye on that. That's just brilliant. So the wheel goes on. We've got the paddle shifts on the wheel there. This is the view from Attard's BMW.
Okay, so he's in as well to hand over to Alexander Sims.
Yeah, who's also a very quick fellow. So we've got the professional, quick pro drivers in now, getting them in as quickly as we can, because this is a driver's circuit. It's brave, it's fast. We need the faster drivers in as best we can to now bring this race alive, even though it hasn't been dead.
What race have you been watching?
You know what I mean? To give it a second burst, as it were, and give it sort of a second lease of life, because it's unbelievable so far.
So in comes the GT4 Aston Martin behind.
Teams have to work very hard, don't they? No mistakes, nuts and bolts have to be done up tightly, fuel's got to go in, no leakage.
Minimum pit stop time here, and away they go, and that's going to be super close between them, and it is just about the 888 BMW that gets out in front of the 6 Oman Racing Aston Martin. And this is, look, how much time the Beach Dean Aston is losing, still sitting there, still not allowed to move. There he goes, and he's going to come out
right in front of the Lotus.
Of the Lotus. It's also very, very tight with the 11 car of John Barnes in there too. But that's how far back Johnny Adam is now in the order. That's the 11 car of John Barnes, who's taken over at the 22 GT Racing Aston Martin. But
that seemed to wait at the end of the pit lane and let them go. I don't know whether he stalled it or had a problem, but the 11 car of Barnes definitely, I don't know, played into everyone else's hands there and let them all go.
We've got Minshaw in the pits now. He's going to be handing over to Phil Keane, but they have a 15-second time penalty after finishing second last time out at Spa-Francorchamps. So that was our race leader, Andrew Howard and Johnny Adam. It's not now. It should be that 888 BMW, and I think, I'm not quite sure who's up behind him at the moment, because there's a GT3 Mercedes behind on the road, but I don't think that's the true second place car. No, it's not.
Looked like the Jones brothers.
Yeah,
car back out again.
The Aston has got through now, so that's not ideal for Rory Butcher. He would have liked a little bit of clear air, but now he is going to try and close in on that 888 BMW. And where are they going to come out in relation to the cars that are leaving the pits now? I don't think they've got really any challengers, have they, in the pit lane? So through Clark Curve comes the 888 BMW to move into the lead of the race. Joe Osborne leads. Second place is Rory Butcher. Then we have to wait quite a way for our third position car, which is going to be Marco Attard and Alexander Sims. Along they come. Now here comes Phil Keane coming out. He's going to have lost time because they had to wait 15 seconds longer in the pits because of their second place, so they come out just behind Andrew Howard and Johnny Adams. So 65 minutes to go, and that's pretty much how we're set here.
Got some very quick drivers out there now.
Sorry, there's our GT4 race leader in the pits. And as far as the GT4 extra pit time is concerned, 15 seconds for the Beach Dean Aston, so they've got quite a lot of time. Also 20 seconds for the Lotus Evora of Oz Yusuf. So that could get very interesting out there to see how things emerge in GT4. So settle in for the next 65 minutes and we'll see how things shake out here at Brands Hatch. Round 6 of the Avon Tyres British GT Championship live on Motors TV. And we can now hear from Andrew Howard, the man who led the first half of the race. He's talking to Jenny Gow.
Andrew, that was a pretty frantic 50 minutes. It didn't go quite as you'd have wished, I suppose, even though you managed to finish leading the class.
No, I think we had three main. The safety car obviously has a major impact, but the safety car does bunch everyone up, so when it goes you get an empty track, which is important. The hard ones are the waved yellows, and we've had a lot of waved yellows. I've never seen so many cars off, and the problem with the waved yellows, we've got to slow down. I mean, that's what the rules say. So, you know, you slow down. A lot of rubbish on the track. I mean, it was like a beach out the back. It's unbelievable. So it's, and obviously, you know, we've got a 20-second penalty, so we're trying to get that. So frustrating, but that's your job. You know, that's what you got to do, and just keep doing it.
You're obviously coming in and having those extra 20 seconds and just watching the car must be infuriating.
Well, I mean, British GT is a championship. It's a superb championship, and the last 3 years have always ended very close. So, you know, it produces fantastic watching as a racing driver. If you win a race, to be penalised in the next race is hard, but it works. Johnny's, I think I've got the best guy out there, so let's see what happens.
Well, he's certainly giving it all he can at the moment. In your mind and in the team's mind, what does he need to do out there?
We need to get in ahead of Liam Griffin, and we need to get ahead of Marco Attard. So for us now, it's championship. I think really, you know, if we can get in the points and get ahead of at least one of those, then that would be perfect. The reality is it's a competitive grid. But hey, there's an hour and 10. I mean, look what happened in 50. I mean, what could happen?
Yeah, currently in 6th place. There's plenty of time to work through, and even your second car in GT4 seems to be trying to work through as well. You've probably not had a chance to catch up with what they've been doing as well.
I saw them out there, but yeah, no, it's a bit difficult, and it's hard because you're so focused on what you're doing, you can't get involved in anything else. But they're two fantastic kids, and you know they're leading the championship, and they just need to be steady, keep going for the championship.
Just one final question. A little birdie tells me this might be your last season in GT racing. Is that right? Do we see this as the swan song for you here?
Well, people have got me retired. It's very exciting. Susie won't know what to do with me next year. No, the idea is that we step up, so hopefully into ELMS, and obviously the objective is Le Mans. this is a fantastic series. Beechdene will always be here. There'll always be Beechdene here as a team. But for me personally, I've wanted to do Le Mans for the last 15 years, and I think we're edging that bit closer. So next year I need to get on with it, really.
Best of luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So there we go. Andrew Howard with his plans for the upcoming years. So there's the 888 race leader, and it is Joe Osborne at the wheel. He's 2.5 seconds clear of Rory Butcher and was 0.4 of a second quicker on that last lap. So Joe Osborne is looking strong. The quickest man out there, though, a second quicker than Rory Butcher in second place, was Alexander Sims in third. So Sims is going to be the one to watch.
First time we've seen him in 1 minute 26, isn't it? 1 minute 26 is the first time we've seen that.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's very impressive. 61 minutes to go, so we're almost at the halfway mark. And it's fourth place then at the moment for Matt Bell in the TF Sport Aston Martin. That's a good drive from him. And now Johnny Adam is right up behind John Barnes in the battle for fifth place, coming up towards Druids. That's the fourth place car of Bell. And but this is the battle here between Barnes and Howard. And sorry, not Howard, Johnny Adam now, who's taken over. So let's see what he can do now as they head down towards the left-hander at Surtees, and he's going to be trying pretty hard here, I think, Charlie.
Yeah, I think the move will happen at some point, maybe within the next few corners, I'm guessing. Adam on a real mission.
Down the hill, up towards the right-hander at Hawthorns. And these two are getting very, very tight together in this battle for fifth position. And it's a good drive from John Barnes in this Aston at the moment to be up in fifth place. Phil Keane also is lapping quite well. But Johnny Adam will be desperate to try and get past into the left-hander of Sterling's. So we've got an hour to go, halfway through.
On track, on road, on Avons.
Welcome back to Brands Hatch, where we have got a safety car. Well, you've joined us just at the right time, so a safety car for some reason out there on the circuit. It's Joe Osborne who's leading in the 888 BMW, but that is all going to close up now. He did have 3 seconds over Rory Butcher in second, and another 4 back to Alexander Sims in third. Oh, and it's Jamie Stanley. Jamie Stanley facing the wrong way on the exit of Druids. So
they're not having any luck at all after that great interview with Jenny at the start, and he was talking about a fairy tale finish. It's been more like a nightmare, really, to be honest with you, for most of this race. Gravel trap, now a spin. There's no damage on the car, which is good, so hopefully they can get going again, at least have some fun lapping. But JCB's on its way to try and get that car moved.
It's unusual.
He's either been spun round by somebody, or he's booted the throttle and just lost the back end. One of those two things.
But it's quite rare we see these cars stalled.
True.
So concern in the Academy, well, not concern in the Academy Motorsports garage, because they are still, I think they're still leading GT4. It's the timing screens are still showing the 50 car in the lead of Graham Johnson and Mike Robinson. So we'll wait till they come through next time around. But it looks as though they might have managed to take the lead of the race. So we'll keep an eye out for that one next time they come through, because unless they had a problem in the pit stops, I don't imagine that the 61 Aston would have lost the lead of the race, but maybe it did. But worst case scenario, they're in second place. So we're behind the safety car now. The 888 BMW of Lee Mole has managed to catch up. So that's our leader. Second place is there, Rory Butcher, with third place right behind him, Alexander Sims. So Sims was closing in on Rory Butcher rapidly, and now his job's been made an awful lot easier, isn't it?
I'm still puzzled at why the Ginetta of Stanley is still, which we're just about to see in a second as we approach Paddock Hill Bend and then up into Druids. I can see it out of my commentary box, but obviously we can't see it on the screen. But it's on a hill. You put the clutch down and roll backwards out the way, but there must be something bigger than that as an issue to not be able to get restarted again or get off the track.
So we're under safety car at the moment. Let's hear now from Will Moore. That car is in second place now in the class. Dennis Strandberg at the wheel.
Yeah, and Will, we were just chatting, weren't we, about why you're in second place at the moment. So explain it to people at home.
It's because the car in front hasn't pitted yet. So we're not leading on the road, but we're leading on the time.
Simple explanation, that's why. So just tell us about your stint. Obviously, it's hot out there.
Very hot, ridiculous. I mean, as we came out of the pits this morning, our air conditioning as we started the engine blew up. So we've got no air conditioning in the car and obviously no windows. So it's very, very hot inside there at the moment.
How delightful.
Yeah, fantastic.
And just tell us what it's like racing around Brands today.
It's my favourite circuit on the calendar anyway, that and Alton Park. There's a lot of blind corners, so you can't see your apex, so it's sort of throw it in and hope for the best really, but a little bit more technical than that. It's good fun.
And we know you're second out there at the moment, but leading the race when it comes to the pits, so how important is it and what do you guys have to do to make sure you can keep that lead?
Towards the end of the stint I was looking after the tyres, looking after the brakes, obviously to hand over to Dennis to give him a really solid car so he can push on and just be consistent now, avoid, keep out of trouble.
Okay, right, got news from the commentary box, but thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, good to hear from Will Moore there. We're not 100% sure that
he's right.
That he's right, basically, but we've got problems here for Stephen Hodgetts, who has come in the Toyota, which is third in the GT4 class with a front left puncture. And
could be.
Is there any? Well, lights are off on the safety car. I just wonder if maybe he came together with Jamie Stanley. 52 minutes of racing action to go here at Brands Hatch, and it's Joe Osborne who is leading the way as they come out and across the line to go racing once again. The safety car came out after a spin for Jamie Stanley, but the fact that no one could overtake before the start-finish line meant that he has now made quite a big break up the front, Joe Osborne. We're on board with Alexander Sims, trying to get second place away from Rory Butcher in front of us, and we are on board with the championship-leading BMW.
And the fastest car on the circuit as well. He's been getting some stonking laps in as well before the safety car came out. So as we dispatch of a back marker in front of us up on the inside of Graham Hill, as the Aston in front of us weaves on us, we are so much quicker in this BMW. Sims is a fantastically fast driver as we come through Surtees now, up the climb, blind climb, up then down into the fast flat out section. You see the Aston Martin popping flames out the side of it. As you can see them all squabbling over themselves, looking for any bit of tarmac possible that they can take the proper racing line through. Very fast, demanding corner this, Hawthorns. We've gone for the move up the inside, but just to maybe scare the Aston up in front of Butcher.
In a case like this where you think you're quite a bit faster than the guy in front, is there less pressure on you? Because if you sort of nose to the inside, lose a bit of momentum, you know you're going to be able to catch back up to him.
Yeah,
as opposed to if it's a sort of a real tight on pace battle.
Yeah, you're just doing it for a bit of scaremongering, really, because you know that you're a faster driver. But remember, you are in that car that is leading the championship, and Marco Attard is sat in the pits going, don't do anything stupid. So you've got that in the back of your mind as well. But it'll be interesting to see where you can sit now. The Aston has pulled away again now. So on the brakes, Sims is very, very good. He's very quick through the entry and mid-corner. Let's have a look at the GT4 battle as well, which is...
So we should have the 50 there with the light. It's just turned its lights on for us.
There we go. Thank you very
much. So that is Mike Robinson, who is leading GT4 at the moment. Dennis Strandberg is in second place in the Academy Motorsport Aston that's just coming through there. And third place in all of that is Ross Gunn in the Beechstein Aston Martin, who is right behind as well. So for the guys who had the pit stop time penalties because of their success previously, the safety car couldn't have come at a better time,
no,
could it?
Not at all. Moore looking very happy with himself there, very tired as well after the hot day that we got at Brands. It's a demanding circuit, lots of corners, and there's the stricken Toyota. I was talking to Steph Hodgetts, bless him, maybe a lovely cup of tea earlier, so thank you for that, Steph, but what bad luck. He didn't have much luck in the free practice, hence they started at the back of the grid in qualifying. and looks like might be another engine failure, possibly, or puncture, as you said, Jack.
There was Benny Simonson we saw just a little bit in the Rosso Verde car. They lost a bit of time earlier on when Hector Lester went off at Surtees. We didn't see it on camera, and it's a stub axle failure on that Toyota. So
that's good. That's good that it's not an engine. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, it's not good, but it's better than an engine. Yeah.
Absolutely. So yes, we saw Benny Simonson out there running in 10th place at the moment in GT3. As we go on board again with Alexander Sims into Paddock Hill Bend. He's hooked that up a lot better than Rory Butcher. Will he get the run up towards Druids? Butcher knows it, covers the inside line.
Butcher definitely seems to have woken up a little bit in the last couple of laps or so. That Aston, he's really squirming under pressure there. The back end of the car is absolutely sideways nearly everywhere. So we're coming out of Graham Hill, 4th gear, then up into 5th gear. They've got paddles on the steering wheel, so all very easy stuff. Coming into Surtees now. It's a long left-hander, really important corner of the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. If you're slow out of there, you're slow all the way down this straight. Hence the Aston has definitely got the legs on us down there, definitely. As you go onto the bridge, you sort of duck slightly because it's so low. Dab the brakes, down 1 gear, off the brakes, squeeze the power in and then nail it as quick as you possibly can, not running wide onto the grass there because those barriers, as you can see, are very, very close. Bouncing over the curb there, if you take too much curb, it bounces you across onto the gravel on the left, and that's not good either. Again, no room for error at all. It's like an avenue of Armco. Look at them mullering the curb there, a bit like touring car style, and then braking down into a banked left corner of Sterling, which we're now picking up the external shots now. Fantastic onboard footage there of Sims in the BMW chasing for the 2nd place hunt.
And look, they've been joined by the TF Sport Aston Martin of Matt Bell. So Matt Bell has climbed his way up into the fight as well. Meanwhile, in GT4, we've got Dennis Strandberg there, turning through the right-hander, and he's got another one of his Academy Motorsport teammate, which I think is further back in the field. Yes, the 62 car of Hart is down in 17th place. So this is side by side then, a look up the inside from the 47 car, which is Jake Giddings, who I think is a lap down on these guys as they come across the line. Robinson it is who leads it, then it's Strandberg, then it's Gunn. Yes, so Jake Giddings is a lap back from these guys. And then we've got Gavin Kershaw in that Lotus, who I think over the course of the last few corners has lost out to Luke Davenport. Meanwhile, this is Alexander Sims in 3rd place. And apparently Jamie Stanley did have contact with another GT4 car, but we don't know which one. And maybe well, I guess it couldn't have been the Toyota because that had a mechanical problem. Unless it was broken from the contact. But
yeah, might have been. I would have thought maybe a drive shaft or a rear axle suspension, anything for him not to be able to roll backwards and get off the racing line and get out the way. But a real shame for that team. So
this is the battle for 2nd position. The frustration here for Alexander Sims is all the time he's stuck behind Rory Butcher. Joe Osborne is getting away in the lead of the race in the 888 BMW. 46 minutes to go as we come into Paddock Hill Bend. We're on board with the 3rd place driver, which is Alexander Sims in the Barwell Curia Kos BMW with the Oman racing team run by Motorbase up in front of us. Again, Robinson continues to lead GT4. They've kind of split up at the moment, GT3 and GT4, because we've just had a couple of laps behind after the emergence of the safety car. We now have a little bit of a gap between them, but the battle is very much raging here at the front of the field in the British GT Championship. Join us for more after the break. Welcome back to Brands Hatch, where we've got 42 minutes of action remaining in round 6 of this Avon Tyres British GT Championship race. And we've got Johnny Adam, who isn't quite having the pace I sort of anticipated from him. He's under an awful lot of pressure from the Ferrari behind, although that Ferrari behind is in the hands of Adam Carroll, I suppose. So that is fair enough. Adam Carroll,
equally quick driver.
Yeah, exactly. He won the A1GP Championship here
Yes.
a couple of years ago for Team Ireland. And so this is a real quick selection of cars that are all queued up behind John Barnes, but John Barnes has got a drive-through penalty. We're not sure why, but we think it may be for messing around at the end of the pit lane, but and he's going to serve the drive-through penalty now. So let's have a look why it happened. So we saw this on the way out, didn't we? So he's leading in the 11, and then he pulls to the side. Okay, so he's been led out too soon.
Causes complete havoc and sort of confusion with everybody. And we mentioned that, didn't we?
Yeah.
We picked up on that and thought, why is he doing that? What was the reason? And then that is now why. That's why. So there you go.
Absolutely.
Drive-through penalty for him.
And there is Alexander Sims. He's passed Rory Butcher. So Sims is past Butcher, and so is Matt Bell. So Alexander Sims up into second place. Matt Bell up into third place in the TF Sport Aston Martin. And now they have been released for 41 minutes to try and close in on race leader Joe Osborne. Matt Bell fancies a taste of second position, but he's not close enough just yet.
But he really is pushing Sims, though, isn't he? He's on a right mission. What happened there? That's very intriguing to see what happened between those three, because it looked line astern, didn't it? They all looked very, very sensible.
So up the hill into, that's going to be close, and just about gets the move done into Dingle Dell, does Matt Bell. Then through the left-hander. And here's a look at what happened then. On board with Alexander Sims.
Coming up
outside.
into Druids.
All the way around? No.
On the outside, so everything's fine at the moment. Aston in front that we've been following. We do a lunge up the inside, on the brakes, we out-brake ourselves slightly. We get the back end out onto the marbly, sort of the grass crete, as it were. Now we're in the middle of the track trying to block everybody, making our car as wide as possible, and that's where the move was done, and I would have thought Bell would have taken advantage of that as well.
And I wonder if there was some contact, because Rory Butcher has now disappeared.
Yeah, he's vanished.
He's just come across the line now, so he's down in 9th position. So whether Butcher, he didn't spin, did he? But
it would look. I would have thought he'd have gone a little excursion on the grass, because Sims put his car up the inside of him, and he would have just had to go wide on the grass and then lost time.
So there's also a 1.7 second stop-go penalty for the 63 Demon Tweaks Barwell car of John Minshaw and Phil Keane. They were 1.7 seconds too quick at the pit stop. They didn't abide by their minimum pit stop time, so they're going to have to serve a stop-and-go penalty, which is a real shame for them. That'll promote Benny Simonson up into 6th place and Lewis Plato up into 7th position. But now then, this next time around we'll get our first look at what the lead situation is, because Osborne leads 5.8 seconds clear of Alexander Sims while they were all battling and faffing around. So now that they've had their first laps in clear air, we'll get a true idea of the pace of Osborne compared to the pace of Sims. Meanwhile, Johnny Adam in 4th place has got Carroll right up behind him. Adam Carroll in the Corsa Ferrari. And they're only 5 seconds back from Matt Bell now. So with 38 minutes to go, we've still got a lot to play out here.
Adam Carroll lapping a good 4/10 faster than Johnny Adam as well. So even though he's hassling him, he can't get by, but he's still putting in quicker lap times. So Johnny Adam doing a very good job of defending and keeping that position. But I'd be surprised if I don't see Adam Carroll coming through as we see the Minshaw Keane car coming out of the pits for its drive-through.
And this is the battle for the lead of the race in GT4. So it's Robinson in the lead at the moment, but Luke Davenport in the Tolman Motorsport Ginetta has managed to get alongside and has managed to get into the lead of the race. So a great move there from Davenport. He's into the lead of GT4.
And a very brave place to do it on the inside of Dingle Dell. Fair play. They made it stick. No contact, no safety car needed there. Great move and a great change for the lead.
Yeah, really impressive drive from Luke Davenport as they swing into the right-hander. Davenport down in 8th place in the championship standings.
Pulling away.
So Patterson and Davenport leading, Johnson and Robinson second, but it hasn't been a particularly good day for James Birch, because Alexander Sherpen had a really strong race in the first half. Let's hear from him.
Really, for James, and I can't tell you, it's a beautiful day outside. It's a beautiful day to be motor racing, but not a beautiful day to be stuck inside a car when it's not going anywhere. Just how warm are you at the moment?
I'm absolutely boiling, Jenny. It's so hot in here. I really need a little ice pack, I think, or an ice cream to try and cool me down a bit, because it's even though it's England, it feels so hot in here.
Now, just tell us, the guys in front of you, your mechanics, the engineers, working incredibly hard to try and get the car out. What was the problem?
No, the guys are doing a fantastic job at Century Motorsport, and it's one of those things that just happens. Unfortunately, with all the heat today, the steering rack has overheated, so I lost all my power steering, which really cost us about 10 seconds a lap. So I did one lap, and it was almost impossible to get the car around. So we're replacing the whole of the front end. We're going to go out, finish the race, and yeah, great job by the guys to hopefully get us out in a few minutes' time.
Okay, well, best of luck, and well done to the guys.
Cheers, thank you very much.
So good to hear from James Birch. Sad to hear that he is in the pit lane, but the gap at the front of the race, Joe Osborne was leading by 5.8 seconds. It's now 3.8 seconds. Alexander Sims is closing at about a second a lap at the moment, and he's bringing that 17 TF Aston Martin sort of with him. But we've also seen some great battling in the GT4 class. Jake Hill has now managed to get past Gavin Kershaw, so that means that Jake Hill is up into fifth place in class. Davenport leads the class, Robinson in second, Dennis Strandberg in the Academy Motorsport Aston Martin is third in class, Ross Gunn is fourth, and going out very wide there was the 77 car of, and it's a problem for Gavin Kershaw. Looked like he just pulled off the circuit there, just as we were sort of cutting away, he went straight on. That is bad news for Gavin Kershaw, because they are the main rivals to Jamie Chadwick and Ross Gunn in the GT4 Championship. So it looks like their race is over. The gap at the front is down to just 2.9 seconds now, so the battle is closing in. So they come up into Hawthorne Bend. That is Jake Hill in the 49 AMD Porsche GT4. Gets out of the way of the 007 Aston Martin that's now running in fourth position. They're trying to push this Lotus. I mean, they won't be trying to push start it, I don't think, because it seemed to ground to a pretty convincing halt.
Second
jump. They've got it going.
Jump started down the hill. Unless you can use the momentum of the hill from Druids down to Graham Hill and park it on the access road at the bottom of the pit lane. That's a possibility.
But there's our race leader into turn one, and there is the second place car of Alexander Sims. It's down to 2.7 seconds. Then we've got the third place car, and now we're going to see the 61 car there of Dennis Strandberg, who's running in third place in class. Luke Davenport, our GT4 class leader, is pulling clear. So it's spread out a little bit in GT4. They're all there or thereabouts together, but not absolutely nose to tail.
Sims was two tenths of a second faster than Osborne there. So 2/10 of a second faster. There's the Lotus there. It's rolled down the hill. He's just lazy. He really didn't want to walk that far.
So that's off on the inside of Graham Hill Bend. This is Adam Carroll.
We haven't seen a Ferrari really that much today, have we? Ginettas, Astons and the like, so nice to see a Ferrari to break the mix up now and again. Lights are flashing, getting the back markers to use their mirrors. I'm coming through, please don't ruin my race. Let me pass you in that very easy, simple place. Okay, through 110 mile an hour corner Hawthorns, that'll do. Thanks very much.
We've still got the McLaren out there as well. There is the number 10 car, which is now in the hands of Andrew Watson, but it's running down in 19th position overall and 11th in class, so it's not going to be a particularly successful day at the office for them. As we see the Eastwood and Carroll Ferrari dive through the left-hander of Sterling's. They've dropped back a little bit from Johnny Adam, about a second behind, but here's our first and second place cars across the line. The gap is down to just 1.8 seconds now. Now, of course, the 888 BMW, a separate team to the Acuria Cos BMW. So
wow.
This is going to be a proper battle now.
This is going to be a proper battle. And also, let's not discount Adam. Adam is having to, deal with Carroll hassling him in the Ferrari, but we've just seen that gap's increased slightly. But Adam is pretty much on par with the lap times of what Osborne and Sims are doing. But Sims is the fastest man on the track at the moment with a 1 minute 27.9 seconds around this fast-flowing very aggressively, you know, you've got to be really aggressive around this Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit as they come down flat out. Just hear him through here. It's a lift off, only momentarily, just a quick down change, then it's back on the power again. Because the corner's uphill, you've got to keep the momentum going through Westfield. Let's muller the curve on the inside, not too much because you're going to go wide on the exit. No room for error here as well. That is the leader in front of us. Through the blind right-hander, we've seen lots of incidents through there, through the Dingledale, or now newly named Sheen corner. As we come into Stirling, nice flat curve on the left there to take, nice flat curve on the right-hand side as well. So lots of circuit being used there, every single millimetre and inch of the circuit. Joining now the Indy circuit, as we then look at the external shot of, look at the gap, you can see it decreasing visibly. So let's see the lap times now.
So the race leaders together, Osborne and Sims closing in on one another. "31 minutes remaining of this 2-hour British GT race, and it's nose to tail for the lead of the race between two BMW Z4s. This circuit really suits the BMW. And
massive chunk taken out of him there, sorry.
No, you can see how much pace he just takes through Grenville Bend.
Loving this. This is great stuff. Has Osborne cooked his tyres? You know, still half an hour left to go. I doubt it, but you know, these Avons are very, very good for the whole duration of the race. But you know, why has he lost so much pace so quickly? But or has just Sims just got on it?
Well, Sims has been held up behind Rory Butcher, so Sims hasn't been showing his true pace for a good, well, ever since he came out of the pit stop, really. Yep. So now he has been able to show his true pace, and you know, there's no doubt Alexander Sims is a mighty good driver. There's no disrespect to Joe Osborne.
So is Joe. Joe's absolutely phenomenal, you know. Really, really quick. See that little flash of the lights there coming into Dingledale there. Braking down into the shaded area of Stirling's, using every inch of curving on the outside edge there. How wide is Osborne going to make his 888 Racing Z4? That's going to be the interesting factor. But while these two battle, let's not forget Bell and Adam and Carroll and Simonson. All of those guys are still going to be on a real mission to try and catch these up. If they keep tripping over themselves, the race could be a 5-6 way battle.
Yeah, Bell that last time around did a 28.3, which was pretty similar to Joe Osborne up at the front, and he's 5 seconds further back. But you're right, if these two start proper fighting, then they could all be brought into play. So this is the battle for the lead of the race here at Brands Hatch in the British GT Championship. As far as how this will affect the championship title, Alexander Sims and Marco Attard are leading the championship and would stay in the lead. But it would bring Lee Mole and Joe Osborne up more into contention, because at the moment they're about 35 points off Sims and Attard at the top of the championship, and if they won this race they'd close that down a little bit, but it would bring them in line with the likes of Johnny Adam and Andrew Howard, as well as Liam Griffin and Rory Butcher, who are now all the way down in 6th position. So
quite nice to see two BMWs doing battle in GT racing rather than Mercedes that we always see in Formula 1. It's quite nice, because those two manufacturers obviously are fairly opposition to each other.
Yeah, the highest running Mercedes we've got here today is in 8th place, Lewis Plato, running for the Ram Racing team. The car he shares with Alistair McKinnon. Lewis Plato is his home race as well this weekend.
Osborne's last lap was a 1 minute 28.3. Sims' lap 1 minute 28.2. They are literally swapping lap times, lap after lap. Let's see what they are as they cross the line again. Again, exactly the same times. Osborne 28.3. No, Sims 27.9. So a much quicker lap through there from Sims. But it's all about catching, as you said earlier, Jack. Can he get past? You know, it's the passing that's the tricky bit around here. That all the cars are evenly matched. The weight balance. You know, the drivers, they're all very professional.
This is going to be a challenge for him to get past here, isn't it? Because Joe Osborne is, as we said earlier, a proper good GT racer.
And he's quite aggressive as well, so he's not going to let Sims go lightly at all.
There is the Acuria Cost team watching on in the pit garage. 28 minutes to go as we come up towards the right-hander. And it's weird, because they're in the same car. Sometimes, quite often actually, the BMW is chasing a car and it's at a disadvantage because its strength is mid-high speed corners. Down the straight, it's not that great because of the balance of performance. So usually when a BMW is fighting, they know they're going to have to really struggle, but it's almost better that it's another BMW in front, whereas usually you'd say if you're trying to overtake someone in the same car as you, that's more of a hindrance.
Yeah, well, you know, these guys literally, it's just down to team setup, what they've got the tyre pressure set at, and the camber and the angle of the wheels, and who's the better driver, really, because they're both very, very evenly matched cars, really, just run by two different teams.
Across the line they come, absolutely nothing between them. It's 0.2 of a second now between Joe Osborne in the lead of the race in the 888 BMW, followed by the Acuria Cos car of Alexander Sims.
They pretty much did exactly the same lap time as well. That lap, they did exactly the same lap time, those two.
And Matt Bell in third place was half a second quicker. The gap comes down to 4.5 seconds further back down the road. So this is going to be a very interesting final 25 minutes. And if Sims can't make a move soon, he's going to be under an awful lot of pressure from behind, I think.
Bell is all on his own. He's all on his own. He's literally just got himself to push himself on and see these two squabbling, and his pit crew tell him on the circuit what we're talking about, what they're seeing on our Motors TV screens here at Brands Hatch, and give him that sort of carrot, that dangling carrot to say, keep pushing, you know. You've got half an hour, 26 minutes exactly. You can see him in the background there. He's catching, and this could be a three-way battle. These guys have got to be careful that they don't trip over themselves too much. But, as we've got somebody in the wall, in the barrier.
I think that might be John Barnes.
It's an Aston. It's John Barnes, number 11.
Begin to clear. Yes, it's the 11 car of John Barnes. He's
the way into Druids.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how he's ended up sort of sideways in the wall up there. So not good news there for John Barnes and the 22 GT racing team. I mean, you see what I mean? He's
gone
facing.
It's snapped the other way and he's gone in sideways. Maybe he's done that on purpose because he didn't want to go in front ways.
He's out the car, which is good to see.
Yeah.
Former British GT champion in 2007, I think it was.
Let's have a look.
So here he comes. Oh, looks to the inside. Oh, evasive action, I think. Oh, that's a big one.
A big run. But see, the Armco and the tyre wall doing exactly their job. That is a good bit of safety netting there on the exit of Druids.
I think he's taken evasive action to avoid that 30 car of Lewis Plato. That's the only thing I can think, is that Plato moved to the inside. Barnes was already going to try and late break him,
but he swerved quite aggressively and just lost the back end.
But to avoid hitting the back of the Mercedes, I don't know.
It's quite an aggressive swerve.
Yeah,
they're looking happy.
Yeah, which is not a surprise because they're leading the race, but
but under
I think
a lot of
they'd
pressure.
be a bit more stressed.
Yeah.
25 minutes to go. On board again with Alexander Sims, and he's dropped back a lot on this lap, hasn't he?
Yeah, that
was 0.3 of a second as they crossed the line.
Mark Lemmer, the team boss there of Sims, the Acuria Cos Run vehicle. There you can see he's all right. He's just definitely getting some air to him because the suit sticks to you. Yeah, I'm still a little bit puzzled by this. Let's see this again.
He's looking towards the inside,
but no, I think he just swerves, or there's a failure on the car.
You don't think he swerves to avoid the back of that Mercedes?
Not that aggressively, no. It's because you're under braking at that point into Druids. It just seemed like a very out of character. I'm going to just turn left all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It was very peculiar, because Keane was nowhere near him behind him. So yeah, puzzling that one.
So
only he knows.
Yeah,
only he knows in the team, because he would have radioed the team as well as he on impact saying, "I'm all right. This is what happened."
So John Barnes out of the race, and the 22 GT Aston Martin takes another hit, unfortunately, as he did last time we were live on Motors TV for the British GT Championship at Silverstone. But here's our race leading battle again. Joe Osborne leading it in the 888 car. We're on the 60th lap of the race here at Brands Hatch, and it's nose to tail for the lead after an hour and 37 minutes of racing. And we've only got 23 to go. Can Joe Osborne hold on? The other guys behind aren't closing in that rapidly. In fact, that last lap Joe Osborne did a 28.6. That was a really quick lap from Joe Osborne last time through. So the pace is there in the BMW if he can find it.
Butcher's still putting some good lap times in, 1 minute 27s. So if you're in the 27s, you're doing all right. Because Sims obviously now and again puts in the 1 minute 27.
Out onto the run down to clearways.
They're just playing with each other, these two, aren't they? But if they're not careful, Bell's going to be on them very, very quickly.
Out onto the start-finish straight they come.
I love it. It's 2 hours of racing. different manufacturers battling it out. Okay, we've got two same manufacturers fighting here, but run by different teams. We've got penalties, we've got pit stops, we've got tyre changes, refuelling, and look, we are still nearly after 2.5 hours neck and neck for the lead of a race. It's literally like a one-make championship. It's just so well done. So well done to Ben and his team at SRO and all of the teams as well so far for getting the cars around. Can't wait. I want to see Bell. I want to see Bell join this battle.
He's 4.2 seconds back at the moment in that TF Sport Aston Martin is Matt Bell. Then Johnny Adam is another 4 seconds back in the Beechstein Aston. This is really good news for Alexander Sims and Marco Attard as far as the championship is concerned. The series continues with a couple of races at Snetterton in a couple of weekends' time, which you can also see live on Motors TV, the 23rd of August, I think it is. And then the final race of the season is at Donington Park in September, I should say. So now let's go down to hear from Jenny Gausch. She's talking to Lee Mole, driver of the 888.
Yes, this is pretty much like being in a hospital waiting corridor, and Lee is doing a very good job of not pacing up and down at the moment. Just describe your feelings right now.
Well, I'm just kind of quite worried, really, because to be honest, just looking at the Barwell car, it looks a lot quicker than ours. So under braking, it's very strong. So Joe's got a lot of work to do for the remaining 20 minutes.
Just tell me the condition of your car. Is it running up to 100% at the moment?
Yeah, no, the car's really good. I think, he just looks like he's got better brakes, probably a little bit, his tyres are probably a little bit better than ours, but it's going to be close.
Is this one of the worst bits of GT driving, that you have to sit there and wait and watch your teammate?
Yeah.
For you, but come on, you can be confident, you can be brave about this. 20 minutes and 45 seconds left. Can you hold on?
Yeah, he can hold on, he says. Fingers crossed.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you for that, Jenny. And nervy times for Lee Mole. But
that's GT racing, though, isn't it?
Exactly.
Joe Osborne's had to do exactly the same thing while Lee Mole's been out there. Bring it back for me so I can at least drive around this beautiful, fast-flowing circuit. So it's tit for tat, really.
Contact between 1 and 6 under investigation at the end of the race. So that's Alexander Sims and Rory Butcher when they made their move down at Graham Hill Bend. We thought there may have been a bit of contact because Butcher lost time, so that's going to be investigated after the race.
Not ideal.
No, we couldn't really. We saw it from the onboard view, so we can't really tell what the grand scheme of things are. But we've got 20 minutes to go here at Brands Hatch, round 6 of the British GT Championship, and it's nose to tail for the lead of the race between the two BMWs. Make sure you join us for the conclusion of 17 minutes to go here at Brands Hatch, and it's absolutely nose to tail for the lead of the race. It looked as though Alexander Sims was going to get past just last lap when he got to the inside going into Druids, but somehow Joe Osborne held it on around the outside. We've got 16 minutes to go of this 2-hour race, and it's Joe Osborne in the 888 BMW who's leading the way, but the car that is chasing is the Acuria Cost BMW, and what they're really struggling with is trying to filter their way through all the GT4 cars. We can now hear from Mark Lemmer, the team manager of the Barwell team that are running in second place. He's talking to Jenny Gow.
Yeah, I've just spoken to Lee Mole. We know he's on tenterhooks, quite nervous at the moment. How are you feeling?
Yeah, pretty calm. We've got a very calm guy in the car at the moment, but I think it's going to go down to the wire, this one.
Yeah, just describe Alexander Sims, what he's like and the qualities that he brings to this sort of a battle.
Well, Alexander's a top pro. You couldn't wish for anyone better in this situation. But Joe knows the car. He's a very feisty driver, and he's doing a brilliant job to hold him off. So, yeah, I mean, it's no easy task.
Are you surprised that it's been able to hold him off for as long as he has, or would you expected Alexander to get through quicker?
No, I mean, Joe's a top-line driver. He's doing a good job. Really, the opportunity, I mean, they're in evenly matched cars, obviously. The tyres have now gone off quite a big chunk, so it's not easy to place the car where you want it. But I think the opportunity is going to come with the GT4 traffic. It got pretty close earlier up at Druids, but Joe's doing a good job in the traffic. But, I think that's where an opportunity could come.
Tense times then for you?
it's good racing.
And that's what we love. Thank you very much. Go back to watching.
Thanks.
Certainly is good racing. Great to hear from Mark Lemmer then, the man in charge of the Acuria Cos Team Barwell squad. And to the left-hander of Graham Hill Bend. Right up behind the Z4 of Joe Osborne. This is for the lead of the race with 15 minutes to go.
Sims is looking like he's ready to pounce. He's bided his time now. He is looking very, very, very tasty now to take a lunge on Osborne.
But he's looking at the championship. You can't just go lunging like
no,
a maniac.
You can't. Like I said, that car is wrapped in cotton wool. It can't be touched by anyone. You know, Attard's in the pits, pacing up and down. If Arne goes sideways through Hawthorne's there, who says these guys are chilling out and relaxing? This is going to be the longest 14.5 minutes of Osborne's career, I reckon, because Sims, he knows, is a quick car driver. They're both in the same car, bits of kit, as Mark very correctly said just now with Jenny down in the pits. And brilliant stuff. Love it.
In GT4, Luke Davenport is absolutely romping it for the Tolman Motorsport team. He is 11.5 seconds clear of Mike Robinson in second in the number 50 World Motorsport Expo. Ginetta, third in class at the moment is Dennis Strandberg in the 61 Academy Motorsport Aston Martin, and fourth in class is Jake Hill in the AMD Porsche with championship leader Ross Gunn, sixth in class. Up the hill, a look to the inside from Alexander Sims. And Joe Osborne darts across late in the day. A little bit of a tap there. Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, they've definitely touched there. There was definitely a bit of a love touch, as they call it, or a love kiss, as they call it.
I think it's a love tap. That's what they call it.
Love tap. That's it. That's it. I was clutching there. You knew what I meant. I just left the door open for you there. That was all. But that's the first time Osborne really has had to properly defend there. You sort of jinx across the track to defend, to make that BMW even wider than what he's making it already. And Sims, you know, has definitely got it on the brakes, as very correctly as Mole said earlier on, with the two different setups on the car. But the tyres now, with the tyres going off, they start to feel a little bit slippery, a little bit oily underneath you. They're not really gripping and biting as what they should be. They are literally just rotating as a tyre, really. They're not really doing what they meant to do with giving you the best, fastest lap time, really. So a real struggle to keep all of that power under your right foot on the tarmac and keep it on the black stuff and keep it going in the right direction. So these guys really are fighting these cars underneath them.
It is fantastic to watch, isn't it? We were talking earlier actually about how GT racing at Brands Hatch can sometimes be a little processional because it's tough to overtake here. But to me, sometimes I love processional. To see people like these two on the limit, nose to tail, for lap after lap is just fantastic to watch.
Yeah,
knowing that one mistake is the one that will mess it all up.
Exactly, yeah. Sims very, very quick up into Druids. Very, very quick. We saw him literally just pushing Osborne around there earlier. Very innocent touch though. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Watched Days of Thunder the other day. Rubbin's Racing, son. Love that. What a great film. Let's hope these two don't, because we've got the Sims car leading the championship.
He's gone for it up the inside into Surtees. No, he backed out of that one.
But now he's done that, he's now going to be slow down the back straight, which is going to give Osborne a little bit of leeway now and a bit of breathing space down this long straight there. But if Sims doesn't try, he's got to try something. He's got to put Osborne under pressure of some sort. So that was a very innocent move. There's Marco Attard there, who's handed the car over to Sims, the blue and black car that we're seeing now. Through the curb at Westfield, running wide, letting the car roll down the hill, keeping it as straight as you possibly can. Let the curves of the track take you to wherever they want. Muller in the curve on the inside, Osborne trying to flick up as many dust and stones as he possibly can to try and put Sims off. There you go. I'm surprised he's not pacing, he's just staring at the screen there. 11 minutes remaining of this British GT race. 2 hours of wheel-to-wheel action. But these proper muscle cars going around the track here at Brands Hatch. Phenomenal stuff, love it. But because of that move, it's given Osborne a bit of breathing space. But Sims is very good on the Indy part of the circuit. Look, he's caught him up straight away.
Yeah, 0.4 of a second of breathing space as they climb up the hill. They're now coming up behind Jamie Wall, I think that is, in the 54 Stratum Motorsport Ultratech Lotus, and they both go through.
Good got out of the way. Yeah, good work from Jamie, ex-British touring car driver, very good friend of mine as well, and he knows his driving, so got out of the way.
Into Surtees then, nose to tail for the lead of the race with 10 minutes to go. Is there anything Alexander Sims can do to try and get past it? How much of a risk is he going to take? It's Luke Davenport who continues to lead the GT4 class now. He's up into 10th place overall. 10 minutes to go here at Brands Hatch. It's Joe Osborne leading the way for the 888 BMW team, and off, and that is Jake Hill and Dennis Strandberg. That's the battle over 3rd place in the GT4 class. They've come together up at Druids, and that is all going to allow, I think, Ross Gunn through into 3rd place in the GT4 class. Let's have a look at it.
So
Jake Hill looks to the inside, Strandberg. Oh.
Jake goes up the inside. I don't know, there wasn't that much room. Strandberg just moved across on him, really, and gave them no space. But they're both back on the track. Let battle do commence again. let them battle it out again, because they're both back on the track. The cars don't look too damaged at all.
And here are our race leaders once again into Paddock Hill Bend. And all it'll take is one small mistake, one GT4 car to not quite realise that the race leaders are up behind him, and just as I say it, it's unfolding in front of us.
Move
down towards the left-hander. It's Mike Hart at the wheel of that Aston Martin, and the AAA car's gone in deep. Joe Osborne's gone deep into Graham Hill Bend, and on the grass is Alexander Sims as he looks to the inside line and takes the lead of the race.
Unbelievable stuff, unbelievable. Just as you were saying, can Osborne now get it back on the inside? No, he's run very, very wide on the exit. And the back marker moved out of their way and everything. It's just as if Osborne just got put off slightly and just went wide, which is exactly what Mark Lemmer was saying with the sensible driver of Sims behind. But these two, it's not over. It is all about the back markers and the traffic now. Just over 8 minutes remaining as they're still falling over themselves, trying to get past back markers as they go through the Dingledale complex at the back of the Grand Prix circuit.
Attard and Mole, the two drivers, were looking at the partners of Sims and Osborne respectively, and it looked in all of that to me as though Sims was going to be the man who'd get caught out, because he was on the outside for Graham Hill,
exactly,
with the back marker on the inside.
That's what surprised me too.
And then off goes Joe Osborne. So across the line they come with 8 minutes to go, and the gap already is up to half a second. Now let's hear from Marco Attard. The championship leader now sees his car in the lead of the race. Jenny.
Marco, this is so tense to have to watch. I mean, Alexander, a very assured driver, but just watching him there, I mean, heart in mouth.
It is a little bit. I got a little bit close when he overtook Joe there. And, if anyone can do it, he's the lad. He's got a lot of experience. He did very well last week in Spa, and anyway, he's done it. And let's just hope we can get through the last few minutes.
Traffic is going to be key now, isn't it, for the last few moments?
Yeah, I think it is. But as long as he's got enough of a break there, because the tyres will have gone by now, they'll be going off. As long as he's got a little bit of space behind him, he won't have to rush it, and he should be okay.
And the lead that he's built up already seems to be quite significant, or do you buy that?
Yeah, there is I haven't seen how much it is, but it's about 4 car lengths, so it's never enough. Never enough.
You've got the whole team behind you. They cheered as Alexander managed to gain that place. You're watching the TV fervently. Is this going to be the most sort of tense 7 minutes?
Yeah, I think it's not too bad now, because when he's in front, he's fine whenever. But
we're just going to replay the overtake now for you to give us your opinion.
Oh, right. Okay, this will be interesting.
You can talk us through it if you like.
Yeah, he went a little bit wide. Yeah, Joe went a little bit wide there. It gets, when your tyres have gone, it gets a little bit greasy down there. And because I had that at the end of my stint, and your car doesn't quite. So I think that's what's happened to Joe.
And when it comes to this race, how important is the win as opposed to the championship lead?
Sorry, say that again.
How important is the win today compared to keeping that championship lead?
It's points. It's all about points. So, the win just gives you those extra points. That's, trying to keep the others behind us. It's all about the points.
Okay, well, good luck. You've only got another 5 minutes and 50 seconds to wait.
Fine. I'll keep my fingers crossed. Thanks a lot.
Great to hear from Marco Attard there, the teammate in the race-leading, defending champion, championship-leading #1 Acuria Cos BMW Z4, run by the Barwell team. And, that was pretty brave from Simsy to keep his foot in there, wasn't it?
Yeah, very aggressive driving and defensive driving from Joe. He knew he could keep Sims behind him, but just that one tiny little inch gave him the space, and they did touch. We saw the touch on the replay there, but brave from Sims, yes, but once you've positioned your car there, you know you've got the inside line for Surtees, and he just had to let it stick in there. So fair play and well done to both of them, and unfortunate there for Joe there, but great for Marco and Sims with their championship attack.
This is the 56 car of David Patterson and Luke Davenport for the Tolman Motorsport team, and they are leading GT4 at the moment, and this will be their first win of the season if they can pull it off, and I think it'll be their first podium of the season as well. No, second podium of the season. They finished second back at Rockingham, but this will be their first victory of the 2015 campaign if they can keep it all together for the remaining 4.5 minutes. They're not under too much pressure either. They're 14 seconds clear of Mike Robinson in second position, and Ross Gunn did end up in third place then in the GT4 class, so that'll be good news for their championship campaign. They will extend their championship lead over Oz Yusuf and Gavin Kershaw, so despite not quite having the pace here, or in fact last time out in Spa necessarily, Chadwick and Gunn are still going well at the top of the championship. That means Dennis Strandberg has been shuffled down a little bit, and I think we haven't lost Jake Hill, but he's a long way further back now in the order, so I'll keep an eye out the window for the AMD GT4 Porsche, but after that collision he has gone a little bit missing. So there's the 53 car of James Nash, former British touring car driver, also races in the Blancpain the endurance series for the WRT Audi team. Now here's the second place Ginetta, second in GT4, and that is Graham Johnson and Mike Robinson, who won the opening race of the season at Alton Park. And second place run here I think will be reasonably good for them. It'll certainly move them up to within contention between the likes of Oz Yusuf and Gavin Kershaw. The gap is up to 2.6 seconds up at the front. Alexander Sims ahead of Joe Osborne. Now Matt Bell is just 1.2 seconds back from Osborne now. That last lap he was only a couple of tenths of a second quicker, so there is Matt Bell, but we know that Alexander Sims is under investigation for the overtake on car number 6, which was the Rory Butcher Aston Martin. It'll be investigated after the race, so it's not going to affect us now, but it could end up potentially as a post-race penalty for Alexander Sims. I mean, I'd be a little surprised, because serious incidents the stewards tend to investigate during the race, especially when there was still 45 minutes or so to go. There's one of the Academy Motorsport cars, I think it was Dennis Strandberg, just runs a little wide coming out of Stirling's Bend. But
well, that's the last thing you need as a leader, which Sims is, seeing a back marker going off in front of you, because you're doing a fair old speed through that Dingledale section, and the last thing you want to do is a car just going left, right in front of you for making a mistake. Hello, there you go. I'm sure that's Marco Attard's son, I would have thought. Giving us a wave, looking very happy. Anything could happen, it's motorsport, there's still 2 minutes remaining, anything could happen.
So Alexander Sims is now on his penultimate lap of the race as he puts a lap on one of the GT4 cars. There's the second place car of Joe Osborne. That last lap the gap remained at 1.2, so I don't think Matt Bell is going to close in on Osborne here. You can see the last lap comparison, only 3 thousandths of a second between them.
I don't know, but Osborne's tyres look like they've completely gone off, and the back markers are not. Oh, okay, playing into Bell's hand there. The back marker will then hold him up a little bit through 30s there, but lights are flashing from all the leaders there. Get out of the way, we're coming through. Yep. But Osborne without, okay, the gap. There you go. The gap will continue.
So there you can see the 43 Ginetta there, which is a long way down the field. That's the James Birch car that we spoke to in the pits earlier on. Good to see them back out and in the race.
And Johnny Adam also not far behind Bell as well, so they're all doing roughly the same lap times.
Yeah, only 1.6 seconds.
Shaken off the Ferrari of Carroll that we saw them closely battling earlier.
But our race leader, Alexander Sims, is about to start his final tour of this Brands Hatch circuit. Matt Bell there in third place, trying to make up some progress, but I think he's going to be a little bit too far behind. There is Alexander Sims, though, for the final time, turning into Paddock Hill Bend. The nerves are continuing down at Ecuria Kos. The title winners last year, the championship leaders this year as well, and they are looking to extend their lead at the top of this Avon Tyres British GT Championship. They make their way past Mike Robinson, who's running second in the GT4 class, and this will be their second win of the season after winning the third race of the year at Rockingham, which again was a great drive from Alexander Sims. I think it was Daniel Lloyd, wasn't it, in the number 2 Oman Racing Aston that he closed in on and passed, and he's had to do exactly the same thing here, close in and pass the race leader. This time it was Joe Osborne, but again it was a really impressive drive from Alexander Sims.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal drive. Just picked the opportunity at Osborne when a back marker and Osborne's tyres just basically went to jelly really, and he just went wide. Osborne's done a great job and still is doing a great job, but if he's not careful he's going to be caught by Bell in these last 3 corners and could change the race again. But Sims, look at that, not what a commanding lead that he's pulled out through Sterling for the last time. Jack, I will hand over to you for the exciting finish.
After 2 hours of racing in the 6th round of the Avon Tyres British GT Championship, Alexander Sims has fought back, got past Joe Osborne and takes victory at Brands Hatch. A wonderful drive for he and Marco Attard. They extend their championship lead. Second place across the line for Joe Osborne. They'll still be reasonably happy with that, I think, down at 888. Matt Bell, a 3rd place finish for the TF Sport pairing of he and Derek Johnson. Really good drive from them, and that is their first podium of the season. They'll be over the moon. Here is our GT4 race leader, and that is Luke Davenport, and he is still quite a way further back around the circuit. He can't lose this race now, Luke Davenport. He has technically already won it because the race leader had lapped all the other cars in the category, so even if he sticks it in the wall now, he'll still manage to take victory, which is an impressive feat nevertheless. But a really good drive from Luke Davenport and David Patterson. They've had to work hard for it because they were 4th in class after the pit stop windows, but they've managed to scythe their way through the field, find their way past Mike Robinson, find their way past the likes of Dennis Strandberg in the Academy Motorsport, Aston Martin. And as they come down through the final corner at Clearways for the final time, it's going to be victory for the Tolman Motorsport pairing of David Patterson and Luke Davenport in GT4. Really strong performance from them as they come across the line, and that is their first victory of the season and their first podium finish of the season. So we're going to have a lot of elated people on the podium a little bit later on, but none more so than Alexander Sims. On the bonnet of the car, he is the race winner in round 6 of the Avon Tyres British GT Championship, and he pushed Joe Osborne all the way. I think they're going to go up and have a little bit of an embrace now. Good to see the camaraderie between them.
All because of that back marker, really.
Yeah.
Just it's so important that you pick and get past the traffic at the right time.
Here's a look at the results. Attard and Sims winning 3.6 seconds clear of Mole and Osborne. Derek Johnson and Matt Bell taking their first podium of the year. Howard and Adam finished in 4th place after starting in pole position, only 6 seconds off the lead, which, considering they had a 20-second pit stop time to serve, is not too bad. Eastwood and Carroll in 5th place ahead of Griffin and Butcher. Lester and Simonson in 7th place, and Wiley and Watson completing the top 10. And then this is the GT4 class. The 11th place car is the winner, Patterson and Davenport for Tolman. Johnson and Robinson in 2nd place in the Ginetta. So Ginetta 1-2. They look really strong here all weekend. Then it's Aston Martin 3, 4 and 5. Chadwick and Gunn, another podium finish for them. And in GT3, the Jones brothers completing the top 20, finishing 7 laps down after a couple of incidents. And but it is the race win for Alexander Sims. So let's hear now from Alexander Sims. Jenny.
Well, Alexander, congratulations. What a race. 2 hours and you left it to the final 7 minutes to really put it on the edge of the seat.
Yeah, that was a very, very good race. Marco did a good job at the start to keep everything clean, bring the car back in one piece.
Look, here he is, speak of the devil.
Well done, buddy. Really good. And yeah, I mean, we had a bit of a challenge in the second stint. You know, we had a bit of a gap to pull up on the guys ahead, but thankfully a safety car helped us out to close some of that gap. But yeah, the other guys around me drove fantastically. It was really good, close racing, but hard but fair. And yeah, Joe was tough to get past for many, many laps. I tried to work him out, but in the end, unfortunately, he slipped on a bit of oil and I got past that way, but we'll take it, you know. A pole and a win's perfect.
It is a perfect weekend, but talk us through what happened with Rory Butcher, because we know there was a little bit of ducking and diving with that number 6 car. So if you can, just tell us what happened from your point of view.
So I just need to correct myself. I got pole in my session. We didn't get pole overall in qualifying. With Rory, yes, I'm trying to think back. Where was that?
It was just the black and orange Aston Martin on the bend.
Yeah, it all happened.
Graham Hillman. I think it's fair to say at this moment in time, you're thinking of celebrating what must have been quite an exhausting win.
I remember now. Yeah. No, I threw it down the inside at Graham Hill. It was all fairly close. And I think there was a GT4 in the mix as well. But I thought it was close, hard but fair. You know, he gave me a little bit of a tap on the exit, but I'd gone in and had to slow the corner down quite a lot to make it. But yeah, I think it was just very